How's it going, everybody? Welcome to
What
the Iron
up?
Seas.
Woo!
We
Hello,
got
hello.
we got
Oh,
guest DARKGIFT Comics with us today, and
let's
as
go.
always, myself, A.C Pritchard, and Evaleighmusic. Kahuna will be joining us shortly. He's running on
Run on
Kahuna
Hawaiian
time.
time. Run on
Yeah,
Hawaiian time.
yeah, yep. But yeah, why don't you? We'll start off. Our movie this week was Constantine with Keanu Reeves. But before we get to that, we'll introduce our guest and take a look at the chat, and then we can go from there. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, sir, Mr. Dark Gift
Oh,
Comics?
yeah, my name is Anthony Romano. Dark Gift Comics is what people usually know me by. DG, if it makes it shorter. Um, and I've been in the indie comic scene, floating around here since 2017. Started off as a fan and what they would call a super backer, and then promoter, and then threw my hat in the ring, and then started promoting, publishing for other people. So we have a little publishing house growing here, which is nice, and also a musician. I know you fellas are musicians,
Oh,
which
hell
is
yeah.
run into a lot of musicians who stream in my neck of the woods. A lot in the chat, though. Got a lot of guys in the chat who are musicians, but not that who stream. And so I actually even did before got into doing comics. I was doing a lot of the music for trailers for people's campaigns. So
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a great
Uh,
place to start. As Evalie knows, like I think you do a little bit of that, right?
Yeah, I dabble as we know. Yes. It's
Yeah.
it's cool, but it's a big undertaking too. But I mean, it's a lot of fun because you end up doing styles of music that maybe you wouldn't. They usually become people, knock on your door whenever it's a style that they know that you can tackle. But still, you're doing something you wouldn't do yourself a lot of times, which is cool. Kind of stretch your wings a little bit to be on theme here and all that good stuff. So now,
oh
are
yeah,
you?
like
Oh,
God.
go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, I remember somebody hit me up when Gina Carano got canned from Star Wars.
Yeah.
Somebody hit me up. They wrote, remember the old '70s song, "If You Like Pina Colada," right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Escape the Pina Colada song. They were like, "I wrote lyrics to that song. Can you record it?" And we lost Evelyn.
Oh shit.
Um,
Well, anyway.
but so he wrote lyrics to that song. I said, yeah, I could do it, but I'm not doing some fake reggae from '70s soft rock era. Can I metal it up a little bit? He was like, do whatever you want, and yeah, it came out good. It was really cool. It was really cool too. Cool song. So
Which book was that, or who was that for?
that was just, dude just wanted to do it. Like, he just, it was when Gina Carano got canned, and
Oh,
it was a
okay.
big talking point, and he just wrote it, and I
Like,
recorded the song.
so if I wanted to go listen to it right now, where would I find it? Is it available on a Bandcamp or anything like that, or is it just it's his and he keeps it under a
It's
rock
his.
and no one can enjoy it?
It's on YouTube. It's on YouTube.
Yeah, hell
Oh, it is. Okay.
Let me see if I can find it, because I
Yeah.
forget what
Gina
he has a couple of channels.
Coladas.
keep it
song.
handy. Keep it handy. We'll play it. Will there be copyright?
I think I
No,
got it.
No.
Is his name SHT Music? Does that sound familiar?
no. Gina
Yeah,
Carano's
Carano.
song. Hold on a second.
Oh, there we go. I think I got Darkgift. Here we go.
I mean,
Dang,
because
6
we're very
minutes.
pro
You did
Carano over here. We're pro Carano
full-length
podcast.
song. Damn, dude.
Women's rights
Yeah.
and all that. You know what I'm saying.
Right.
And also
Here-
Disney sucks. So
Yeah. So I have a version on my channel, but it's just a lyric video.
oh, there we go.
But this is a music video that I'll put the link in the private chat so you guys can have it. There you go.
All right, word. I'll pull it up in a bit.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, but yeah, it's been fun. What you call it? The scene itself has been fun. Meeting new people has been fun.
Absolutely, yeah.
And with like this, oh hi, how you doing?
Brother.
With this like whole other like scene, like kind of rising, with the like musicians and book authors and stuff. It's been really cool meeting a lot of people from that area, because all this stuff has been affecting, all of our little hobbies, and it's nice to hear
kind of
the
brought unity
perspective.
to a different, from all of these different spot places into kind of this unified kind of.
Mm-hmm.
At least, like there's some crossover that you weren't really seeing as much before. Like Justin's a musician, AC's a musician. I know like 3 or 4 others now. I'm like, I never did music growing up. I didn't know guys like this. So this whole thing is so interconnected, and it's really, really cool for that.
I thought you were just gonna say, I didn't know guys growing up. Now I know
I didn't know
guys.
men growing up.
My life is better all of a sudden.
That's why
There's so
my
many men in my sphere.
Kahuna
that's
doesn't
why.
know. Oh, go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
Kahuna doesn't know music, and yet he rolls in like this.
Pretty much.
So Kahuna
What was
shows up in chat or in the show. Oh, I missed these clips. I'm gonna have so much fun with them, guys.
I got two more questions for you, Dark Gift. Are you related to
Sure.
Ray Romano's? Is he like a cousin?
I wish I had that money in the family.
He's got to be at least a cousin in the Italian sense of the word. You know, you don't got to be related to be cousins.
Yeah, I mean, we got the same last name, so there's probably a relation
Yeah.
somewhere, like 300 years ago.
Talking about
What
you guys look related. Look at your foreheads. It's the same forehead. It's the same hairline, dude.
Beautiful. Perfection. They make statues, you know.
If we go back far enough, we're all a little Italian.
Yeah, there we go. That's right.
Yeah.
What is a super backer? I've never heard this term. I'm
Sounds
the village.
I lost count of how many campaigns I've backed, but in this almost 8 years I've been here, it's well over 400.
Damn. That's a lot. Okay, so you back everything.
In the beginning, I backed everything that popped up, but yeah, no, I'm a little more picky nowadays. But yeah,
Gotcha.
and I tend to back at higher tiers if I can.
Good deal.
I'm not rich, but I do what I can.
I pretend. No.
Good deal. And what kind of metal you into? You mentioned you tried to metal up the Gina Carano song. Are we talking like 80s hair metal? We talking power metal? A little bit of everything?
Yes, on those first two, I hope. Those are the best metal genres, as we all of us here agree.
Yes, I mean, Hair Nation is on my speed dial on my Sirius XM radio, but I call myself a metalhead hippie because I started off young. It's into all the 80s thrash and 80s rock. Yeah, the big four, Metallica, Anthrax, Slayer, Megadeth.
Overkill. I got them all.
Speaking of Overkill, my art teacher did 4 album covers for them.
No way.
That's cool.
Who was it?
His name is God, I can't remember his first name, but his last we call Mr. Grace. I just remember him as Mr. Grace. But Bobby Blitz was one of his art students when Bobby Blitz was a teenager.
Kidding.
And
Really?
Bobby Blitz used to come into the high school to visit him sometimes, and I got to meet him. He had an autographed picture of the band on his office door. Yeah.
Oh, that's sick.
See, every now and again you get a cool teacher who's just a good teacher, and he's into good stuff. Instead of all these other teachers that are trying to present a vanilla version of themselves to their students. Justin, I'm kidding.
Oh yeah, no, he was the guy that had the blue tint. I swear to God, he was like a beatnik when he was younger. He had the blue tinted glasses, the turtleneck. I could see him sitting in a jazz club, just going like this, Totally. I smoked pot with him, out back behind the high school. So, he was a cool dude.
By the time I was in school, we were running away because we had to run away from our English teacher for smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
You gotta pack up a little sin spinach, you know what I mean? Some of that devil's lettuce.
Yeah.
I don't know why they always associate it with evil Christian gods, but here we are.
The devil's lettuce, the mean green.
Yeah, the mean green. Why is it mean? It's so nice.
I see somebody saying Pantera too. Absolutely Pantera. Yeah.
Oh yes. Pantera. Walk.
But then, I was, an 80s kid, but I was a 90s teenager. So then, the grunge scene happened, which kind of got intermingled with my musical style. Big Guns N' Roses fan, big Alice in Chains fan, Screaming Trees, stuff like that. Pantera, of course. Typo Negative became one of my favorite
Wasn't
bands.
Pantera secretly a hair metal band, and then they like switched everything?
Yeah.
Like they rebranded
the first album or two, I
basically.
think.
Yeah.
It's like power metal kind of. Like
They've tried to. I've tried to find proof of this on the internet, and I think they've like gone in with an eraser. They're like, this never happened. No one will know.
It's hard to find. It's hard to find that album. It's hard to find a picture. You can find there's like the one that like everybody knows. It's like where they all have like long teased out hair.
Oh yeah, dude, it's great.
But
yeah, dude, Pantera is like one of the greats, one of the forefathers of metal. Not gonna lie.
what do you think of the new reunion tour?
I haven't seen them in that yet. I'm going to be seeing Creed and Three Doors Down and a couple others this summer with my dad. That's something we're going to do. So
Cool.
yeah, that'll be sick.
I'm all right with Pantera doing. I think you got Rex is still there, Phil's still there, so there's enough members. I think for people that love the band, it's not Pantera in its truest form. You can't replicate that. But for people that do enjoy that, you know what? I'm very much of the mind with a lot of things. I'd rather have something that's like the Diet Coke version than to not have it at all. Some people are like, nope, it's over, pack it up. We can still do this, it'll be a facsimile of it in some way, but it'll be a little different, but it'll still be fun. You get together with guys that listen to the same band, you can still hang out with like-minded people, listen to some good tunes. It'll be a little bit different, but I think it'll be a good time, so I'm a fan.
I figure if you're gonna get somebody to replace Dimebag, Zach Wild's the guy to do it.
Yep.
Yeah, he's pretty...
And like there's kind of this unspoken thing too with a lot of these bands. Like a lot of the guys they replace them with might not have the same presence, and obviously they're not the OG people. But a lot of them are technically more performative and better in some ways as well.
Well, the running joke in the '90s was who does the pinch harmonic more, Dimebag or Zach? So.
Yeah.
He's got the ghost pinch harmonics and all that stuff, and you get the pedals
Yeah.
in there. Yeah, he's like the king of that style.
I got to see the Cult here just this last year with my dad, like towards the end of last year, over here at one of the performing areas, and the only OG member is the singer, but my God, dude, the guy still performs like he's like doing Booger Sugar between every set, and he's not.
Oh,
yeah. Like the guy's in his 60s, and he's like he was like moving and like dancing and singing like a rock star for like 4 hours in a row. Freaking intense, dude.
As you do. Yeah.
Fun fact: I used to buy guitar strings off Zach Wild before he made it big.
Oh, dude, that's cool.
He worked at a local music shop by me where I used to go get guitar strings, and I remember I went. And I went to go in one day, and like I noticed, like, it was like I'd been like a week or two. I hadn't seen him in the shop, and I go, "Where's Zach?" And they were like, "Oh, he's touring with Ozzy," like all nonchalant. I was like, "Wait, what?" I was like 15 at the time, yeah, but I was like,
"Hey, can I get some guitar strings?" He goes, "Oh yeah." That's crazy. I didn't know he was from Jersey. Look at that.
I know what you never know.
And JD, the bass player from Black Label Society, is from Jersey also, and had a recording studio /rehearsal studio here. And my old band used to go and play there, and JD used to be sitting back there with a bottle of JD.
That's crazy.
So this week's movie was Constantine. We all watched that.
I can't believe I had never seen it before this.
What?
Really?
Yeah, I wanted to growing up, and when I was like a young, like Christian kid, still Christian, but young Christian kid in a conservative household, my dad's like, "It's a great movie. You can't watch it." I'm like, "Don't tell me it's a good movie to say I can't watch it."
Oh,
you had me grow up on Ace Ventura. I can't watch this. Okay.
Yeah. That's... Huh. All right. Fair
it's
enough.
like, it's a fantastic movie. Yeah, you're never allowed to see it.
Wait, hate you.
Oh, that's sad.
It is one of my favorite movies, even though it's not very comic book accurate. It's still a really good movie.
It's not anywhere near. It's almost more like Dresden Files than like Constantine.
I was just gonna say, yeah.
That doesn't like you can see that shared DNA. I'm going back. I'm like, when did they write Stormfront? I need to know because it feels like almost like they blended Constantine with the Dresden File like novels. Because the world feels very Dresden Files, and the way he acts is a kind of a combination of Constantine and Dresden. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it definitely has a different vibe than like what the books have, but
has a good flavor. Has a good
Yeah.
flavor. And the one, like, honestly, this is one of my favorite Keanu movies after watching this. Like, it was just, like, hit him at the right, like, it was him at the right age at the right time. Like, his kind of weird non-acting snarkiness kind of really shines in this role in a way that sometimes it doesn't. Point Break, sorry.
Well, you know, let's kind of go around like initial thoughts. Let's start with Evalie and then work our way up.
Actually, maybe we should start with the
Kahuna.
rundown that Evalie will do. I actually have to go here for just a few minutes, so give us the rundown, Justin.
Yeah, let's hear it.
10-4.
Yeah.
All right. So Constantine from a really good year. If you were old enough to enjoy it, 2005 was a wonderful time. Maybe one of the best times out there. So that's when this movie came out. John Constantine, Keanu Reeves. Which good luck spelling Keanu correctly. I don't know where the E goes or the A. There's 2 U's. There might be 3. I still don't know. Reeves I get every time. Keanu, I have no idea. So he's a jaded exorcist with the ability to see angels and demons lurking among humans. Haunted by his past and battling personal demons, he teams up with Angela Dodson, as Wayne would say, Schwing, a detective investigating her sister's mysterious death. Oh no.
Swing, swing.
That's the one. If she was a president, together they uncover a supernatural conspiracy threatening to upset the balance between heaven and hell. Heaven and hell. As dark forces close in, Constantine must use his occult knowledge and grit and some cigarettes to confront evil, all while wrestling with his own chance at redemption in a world caught in a hidden cosmic war. Indeed. Starring Mr. Reeves himself. Rachel Weisz. We got Shia LaBeouf was in this film, which I had forgotten.
Yeah, dude.
In all his young glory. He faded out. Never happened to that kid. You got I don't want to say his guy's name. Dijon Hanzu.
Dijon.
Ballpark? Dijon Hanzu. I'm going with that. And Tilda Swinging. The box office for this one was $100 million, and it made $230 million. So it didn't dominate the box office, but yeah, it did all right. Did all right. Almost like something you'd look at that and go, 20 years later, should we go back to the well? That gentleman.
Right.
Well, it's all about having a goal.
Oh, that's a Rain Suit story right there.
That's how you make money.
So I hadn't seen this movie. Oh, man, it's been a long time since I watched this, and I have a tendency, oftentimes when I'm watching movies, to have them on in the background and to do stuff on my phone. Whenever they talk about Netflix writing dumber scripts where they're like, I'm now walking into the room. Now I'm drawing my weapon. Now I'm doing this. And they're like, we got to dumb it down for that one guy who's on his phone and not paying attention.
Right.
I'm not saying I am that guy, but I'm saying I am a little bit. So I didn't pay full attention to it, but I remember being like, oh, cool. Oh, that's the special effects. Oh, man, Keanu Reeves is crazy. Look at that weird gun he's got. This is neat.
Well,
That's
do
all I
you
remember,
really
so
do you really have to pay attention to it?
I think so.
That's the thing.
The more you pay attention, the more you get out of it.
Yeah, you catch more, and like there's really good little details and stuff in there, and like particularly the dialogue stood out to me. But like in the end of the day, like like it was kind of written in a different, at a different period of time where like I feel like this is one of those movies where you could have it on in the background and you would know what's going on at any point in time when you pull it up, because like even when you see like a new character that he's talking to, you know that he's talking to like the devil, right? Because he's literally like what, because of what they're saying to each other and stuff like that.
I don't. So you tell me it's like you're petting the dog, you're making dinner, you look up, he's drowning a girl in a bathtub. You're like, oh, I know what's going on. We're all
Okay,
good
well
here.
maybe there's some parts like that, but it might be. Now I'm curious. Out of context,
Who's this
Constantine.
Mexican guy with this knife? What's happening?
The Mexican guy with the knife. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. They kind of start off out of context, don't they?
Well, I was
A
glad
little
when I saw the poll that you guys put up with the movies. I was like, please Constantine, because I own I have it. It's like I don't have to go searching for it. I don't have and like I said, it's one of my favorite like comic book movies. Which I think at the time in 2005, like I wasn't even collecting comics anymore. So it was like the way I was getting my comic book fix was like through these movies, So.
Yeah. Well, it starts off, and it's got a quote about whoever has the spear of destiny controls the world. And I was like, I remember that B.J. Blazkowicz got this thing, right? This is a Wolfenstein reference. This guy must be a fan of Wolfenstein. I'm like, what's this Pure Destiny? I had to look it up. And yeah, I wasn't sure about, I thought this was like an urban legend kind of thing. Like it was out there, but I thought it was made up. I didn't do any research on this. Is this like an actual artifact, or is it more like one of these might
let
be
me
out there, might not be out there kind of deals?
let me do a quick search. I'm
Well,
actually
while you're
gonna,
doing that, yeah, it's
I'm
poor
gonna ask
Manuel.
Brock, actually. I'm gonna
Poor
ask
Manuel
Brock.
comes across this thing, and I guess it possesses him. His whole motivation, this guy's just digging. He finds this, and all of a sudden, he's just like on a mission to get to that insane asylum and all that sort of stuff. And then Bud gets hit by a car. Not a good way to start your day. You find a little treasure, and then a car runs into you, which I love that scene. Scenes where you have something behaving contrary to what your expectation. I think it's really fun to watch because you expect this and this happens. It's kind of like the Subversionist story, except it's more entertaining. I'm trying to think of examples like if water's on fire, water shouldn't be on fire. So it's like, oh, that's visually interesting. Or let's say you have ketchup, but the ketchup isn't red, it's purple or green. Like that's exciting because it's not what you expect. So I'm a fan of that.
Yeah, that scene where he gets hit by the car, like, because your mind actually, they did it. I mean, for 2005, the effects were pretty well because they did it in a point where, like, in a way where, like, your mind is actually keeping up with what's going on. It happens so fast. Like, he walks out, he gets hit by the car. You're expecting that's it, he's dead. But then you're noticing the back end of the car is staying where it is, but the front of the car is still.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait a minute. Is he still standing there? Like, your mind is playing catch up with the whole thing, you know?
What if Manuel put down the spear of destiny and he's just like awesome? He's just standing like, and he's like, oh, I guess I can't take the spear now. It's unrelated. Just throwing it like, what the hell?
In my version of the scene, I just unzipped and that's what happened. But I don't know. Well, to each their own. We all have our own directorial vision.
So from there, then they go to L.A., which of course it's cursed town. You know, bad things are happening there, and they got the possessed.
In L.A. No.
Yeah, that's what I heard. That's what I heard. I've never been there myself, but from people I know that have been out that way, they're like, it's a little dicey. If the Spear of Destiny is going to show up and cause problems, it's probably going to be here. What I don't understand, and I've made this point before, and I'm going to make it again tonight. They have the possessed girl hanging out on the ceiling, right? Creepy girl on the ceiling. Girls aren't supposed to be up on the ceiling. That's weird.
I was like, Japanese. Wait, no, she's not Japanese. What is this?
How come the only people that ever get possessed in like 95% of anything, it's always some chick. It's always some young girl, and she's up on the ceiling. Like,
or that one movie with Olivia Wilde.
It's never like
what was that called?
Michael Clark Duncan or the dude who plays
Justin,
it's never Dave Bautista. It's never The Rock. Like, that's a way scarier
you know why?
possession.
You know why? Because those guys are scary without the possession. And The Rock did get possessed in one movie. You guys remember that terrible movie, Doom Annihilation? Anyone else see that movie? Or just me?
No, I saw the first one, and I tried to erase it from my mind.
DARKGIFT, you've seen that movie, right?
Yes.
Oh, it's so bad it's good. It's so bad it's funny. At least it hits that tier for me.
Yeah,
an example of like some scary dude getting possessed.
I think it's because like I think it's because women, especially young women, getting possessed is creepy, right? Like they, you can do more. I think with their face, like men already look kind of angry, right? So you're taking like a soft visage. And you're making it this harsh, ugly visage.
It's also about corrupting what is considered most pure, and a young girl is not considered.
I get it. I understand. I get it. I understand.
Justin's just like, what if no women were hurt in this film?
But what if it was Sloth from Goonies? That's, I don't know. There's something
Would he look normal?
Girl, but it's like she's still 100 pounds. I don't know, maybe we can take her. But Sloth's a scary guy. He's already scary without even being possessed. Now you take a scary guy and he's possessed? That's like next level scary.
He might look normal.
He gets possessed and just his brain, like he's completely fine.
The priest is like, be gone, Satan. He's like, no, I like being handsome.
It just fixes his teeth in his face.
I like in this scene the way too. I didn't really understand this. I didn't know why I thought it was going to come back into play with the whole water and water's reflective properties and all that. This girl constantly burns her head with that. Was it a quarter or something? He's like, ugh, and just burning her head, which I thought was funny. And then he traps her in that mirror, and then he throws the mirror off the roof, and they like, it can't get out, and he's pulling on the thing to get it to go out.
I
And then it goes out
cannot
and
believe
blows it up
Shia
to school.
LaBeouf was in this movie. Also, I had no idea because I've never seen it. I had no idea he was in this film, and he was fine. He's completely fine.
He's actually a good actor when he's not gone crazy, you know. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's like okay, we're gonna get like 2 or 3 good movies out of him, and then we're gonna get like 1 terrible one. So we gotta get in that zone there.
But I thought the mirrors were going to play an important role. I thought they set that up at the beginning, like the way you get rid of demons, you got to have a big mirror. And then I was like, is he just going to drive around like a box truck with mirrors in the back of various sizes? I don't know.
He's just gonna chrome his taxi. That's what he'll do.
it probably did, and it probably got cut out in the editing because if you remember the last scene where the devil's got his son in the chokehold, well, he's got her in the chokehold. When it goes down to the puddle on the floor, you can see him in the puddle struggling.
Yeah, you see reflections, just not in mirrors. That's all it is. Yeah.
So it probably did play a bigger role in the movie. They probably just cut a bunch of that out because those are the only 2 scenes. Yeah.
He pulls out a pocket mirror and only unpossesses like one part of the person, like part of their ear or something.
Just the eyes. Now they can't see. They're stumbling around.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what was going to happen with that. And then, of course, you get the introduction to Rachel Weisz, which, you know, after The Mummy, can she do anything
I'm
wrong?
never going to complain about seeing her in a film.
Yeah.
Not once.
She's totally fine. I didn't know she was British. I found that out not too long ago. I started talking on something. I thought she was being one of those. You remember when it was trendy as an American lady to have a British accent in interviews? I thought she was one of those, but it turns out she actually is a proper lady.
I know. You look at her teeth and you look at her teeth and you wouldn't think so, but you know, some people. Yeah.
As how Madonna went from like being from like Flatbush to all of a sudden being from London like overnight.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I thought it was precisely
or how people forget that Christian Bale is actually English, and because he's done so many American accents, people just think he's American.
Yep.
It goes cuts to sister. She's in the psych ward, which psych wards are always, I don't know, they're a fun backdrop whether you're making a music video or being in a movie or like a Silent Hill game. It's just there's crazy people in there, so that's already like, ooh, we don't know what's gonna happen here.
It's like it doesn't matter if stories come out of the crazy ward. Probably not.
And
it's like, you saw a demon today? I did see a demon. Oh, well, good for you. Taps him on the shoulder.
Wow, not again? Oh, jeez. It looked like The Rock. It was extra terrifying.
I have to ask on a side note, because I'm from New York, New Jersey. Sometimes words fly. Can the little guy hear what we're saying?
Can he hear us?
Kahuna, can your child hear the words that are being
spoken? No, I didn't hear the words. I was distracted.
Okay. I'm just making sure because like if something flies out.
No. Okay. It's all in the headphones here. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Stop pressing buttons. You can grab it and pick it up.
If I drop an F-bomb or something, I apologize in advance.
No, it's okay. I swear in front of them occasionally on accident, but it's like we all have rules. Like my rule is I don't swear in front of women and kids I don't know, and that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you're it's all here. You're good.
Good. Okay.
Fucking say it. No, I'm kidding. Wait, thank you, Jeremy.
Speaking of things we can't say, I was trying to write about the sister in this and some other scenes. I'm like, I can't use the word that describes exactly.
She was sliding down a sewer. It was a sewer slide.
I said deletion of one's person. Kind of. I'm not sure.
Shuffled off the mortal coil of her own accord.
Yeah, that's a really.
Stop.
I feel like it needs a little vaudeville dance number for that. But yeah, so that happens. There's the whole scene with her. I didn't realize she was a twin at first because I didn't read the movie description. I just put it on and went in, which is a great way to go into movies without the trailers, without knowing anything about it. You just jump in and everything's a surprise then, which is kind of fun. And
right.
old Manuel, he's just walking, and he's dropping cows. Cows are just falling over because he's got his little spear with him and all that. Poor Manuel, I feel bad for this kid.
That part was awesome.
The spear and he's just doomed. Which
you definitely got some of that the debut director kind of vibes from this movie because he wasn't afraid to just try stuff, and that scene where she gets pulled through the entire building through every wall. That was incredible. Yeah. That was so cool. That was such a good shot, such a cool idea. You look at some of the shots in this film. It's like I could kind of see the music video influence, especially if they like did some like metal music
Or
videos. Obviously,
Probably more of a wake me up and shit.
Wake
Would
me
probably
up
be more from that
inside.
time period. Yeah, new
Yeah.
metal was like at its peak.
The Daredevil movie was just like one big Evanescence video.
Yeah, it was or like an old Linkin Park song. Yeah,
Stand alone. Where you get those?
I really
in
love
there.
the movie. Now I need a new version like that.
I love his buddy in this film, who is sort of like Underworld M, and he's going through the different tools that you're like, oh, he's gonna use these later. He's got like the little cockroach or whatever. and
it's the
match
gearing
box.
up kind of guy. It's like they have that, like they had it in Van Helsing. They have it in every movie.
You know, it's funny you mentioned Van Helsing. I was talking to my buddy about this. He's like, Constantine sucks. I was like, your attitude sucks.
Whoa.
First of all, and I'm like, second of all, Constantine, it felt very similar to Van Helsing in a lot of ways. He's like a modern day monster hunter, and in the same way, he's got this toolkit, and the guy presents him. He's got the holy water. He's got the dragon's breath. He's got the bullet from the that was used in, it was tried to given to the Pope in a way he didn't want it. And I like that. The 007 toolkit, I love that stuff. Like, oh, he's gonna need this later. When's he gonna need it? That sort of stuff is really
Well, the dragon's breath, I'm like, that's a shotgun shell. How's this gonna work? Oh, okay, that's the plan.
Oh, I see. Now,
Got it,
now I'm
got
catching
it.
on.
I'm figuring it out. Yeah, just a little love, a little black powder, a little magnesium.
Yeah. So shortly after that, we get introduced to Gabriel. Am I the only person that thought Gabriel was dumb top to bottom in this entire film, and I hated everything about the way this character was portrayed in this movie, not only in storytelling and casting, decision making, all of it? Am I alone in that?
I'm halfway there with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm halfway there.
If you remove yourself completely from the situation, as in religion and comic, and just look at the character, it's like, okay, that's a cool character on its face. But I see what you're saying. Like,
She's a little silly in this movie. I like the actress, but yeah, she's a little silly.
Yeah.
Well,
like
it's funny. It was like a race swap before race swapping was like political.
Well, it was done back at a time when it wasn't done for those reasons.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
we didn't. When there was no agenda behind it, we didn't mind people doing that. It was better for the film.
Maybe
But
the
she was
director
perfect.
Was a fan of Hilda,
She was perfect for that kind of thing, though, because she is like, not the most form-figured of women. She's just kind of a thin woman. You put like a sports bra, like a martial arts thing, and she's kind of, you know what I mean? So like very ambiguous. You can make her very ambiguous. Like
androgynous is a good word.
That's the word I was looking for.
Exactly.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yep.
Make her very androgynous, and she can, which angels, I guess, are supposed to be, very androgynous.
Yep.
So it worked in that sense. I think the casting worked in that sense.
There was also some guy in the '90s who's like, I'm really into this. I'm going to put it in the movie.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I am, because usually whenever, obviously there's a lot of biblical lore tied into this. Not only is she supposed to be Gabriel, man of God, Gabriel, woman. And if you're going the androgynous angle, first of all, I'm like, what? Every man in the Bible is depicted as masculine. Any language referring to them is almost always a woman. In fact, I don't think there's a single time that it's referred to as a woman. It's always like, that's a dude. Whether or not they're actually boys or not, I don't think anybody gave them the Crocodile Dundee test. But it's just a weird decision in my mind, just to make her. And she wasn't very androgynous. Maybe you could say like her neck from here down is, but from here up, I'm like, that's a girl. She sounds like a girl. She looks like a girl. That's Tilda Swinton. She's a girl.
If you're going to do it like this, she has a deep enough voice and an odd looking face. Still feminine, but odd looking face.
Right.
I thought she's pretty.
Okay. Yeah. No, she is.
That.
Sorry, I sorry, you took me off guard with that one. I didn't expect that.
No, but what I think, because if you notice, and I correct me if I'm wrong, but I rewatched it last night. They never use a pronoun in reference to Gabriel. They never you never hear Constantine say him or her.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. He just always says Gabriel. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if she was supposed to be playing a woman angel. I think she was supposed to be playing a male angel, just being, again,
I think she was supposed to be in not non-gendered.
Yeah.
She was, but it's just weird, especially too, because in the comic, was it this weird androgynous character, or was it clearly a dude with like a chiseled jawline and all that sort of stuff?
No, the comics are like you almost can't call this and the comic. You can't really compare them. They are not similar enough.
Do the angels even appear in
some storylines? But it's always like one-off graphic novels, not like main storyline kind of stuff usually.
Right, yeah.
So I don't know. There was a couple hangups for me in this movie. That was one of them. Maybe a minor detail, but as soon as she came on screen, I didn't know it was a Gabriel because they don't tell us that up front. I don't think. So I was just like,
they tell us like first scene that she's in.
Part of me wonders if they added that.
Did she present as Gabriel?
Sorry. Part of me wonders if they just added the androgynous Gabriel to kind of get reaction like you have to it, Evalie, out of it. Or part of me wonders if it's just like one of
I like how Justin's personally offended. It's like, why would they do that to me?
How dare you, director, writer people?
And there's obviously the conspiratorial part of me that's like, oh, this is just setting the stage for what we're dealing with now.
Also, Constantine kind of just being a kind of a cock the entire movie. It never failed to make me laugh.
Mm-hmm.
I
got a deeper conspiracy theory. The director is like a Quentin Tarantino and has a big foot fetish, and he knew the scene at the end where Gabriel stepping on Constantine's face was coming up, and he was like, "Yo, let's get it checked."
Every other scene, you said you wanted the first take because it was more authentic. With this one, we did it like 46 times.
we joke about these things, but Hollywood's so weird that honestly, if that ended up being the truth of the situation, I'd be like, okay, now it makes sense why all of these.
Actually, Tarantino's maybe the best example of this because he didn't direct that vampire movie he was in. Oh, what the hell was that called? With George
Dusk
Clooney.
Dawn.
Dusk and Dawn. But he was one of the writers. He wrote a scene where he drinks tequila off of the toes of Salma Hayek into a movie, and then he played that character.
Yes. He's the king foot fetish master of Hollywood.
Yep.
He's like, guys, I have this idea. I don't know if they're going to go for it.
See, in like the 80s and early 90s, that was like, okay. They're like, oh, that's just Quentin. He's got a foot fetish. Oh, silly Quentin.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was the vibe. I think they were more like,
okay, if you want, bro.
But I mean, by the
nail polish.
By the 90s, it was like accepted. Like, I mean, look at Uma Thurman in Pulp Fiction. She's like barefoot in half that movie, and like they do close-ups of her feet in like 3 scenes.
And in Kill Bill.
Kill Bill, I was going to say. Same thing.
There's a whole scene about her wiggling her toes. Wait a second. I'm seeing a pattern.
No. I didn't connect those dots, and now that I am.
Oh, dude. We're going to look at every single movie. Where in the Hateful Eight is there a foot scene? There has to be one.
There's going to be one, yeah. There's going to be one. Yeah.
Oh, cripes.
There's a theme. Movies from like 05. We were talking about Fantastic Four before. In the first movie, it's the ad placement is fantastic. Pun intended. They has like the flame broiled Whopper, and he toasts it. In this movie, they had the Chevy ad, and it says time is running out. He's like, oh no! And then it's like to buy a Chevy. I'm like, I love that stuff, man. It's
good stuff.
All right, not to spiral real quick, but one last Quentin Tarantino thing.
Oh no!
All right, he didn't direct it. He actually sold this movie. He wrote and sold this movie so he could film Pulp Fiction. What you call it? Natural Born Killers.
Oh, yep.
Never seen that one.
He wrote Natural Born Killers.
Okay.
Sold it to Oliver Stone. Took the money, made Pulp Fiction. So he actually wound up having 2 #1 hit, 2 of the best movies that year in '94. There's a scene where Juliette Lewis is caught, and they put her in jail. The cop goes in to question her. She's smoking a cigarette. She puts it on the floor, and she puts it out barefoot. And it's a very slow, like, grind on the, it's very close. Like, even when he's not involved in, like, acting or directing, he even just writes it, and it still seeps into other people's movies. Anyway,
actually, Bill, as funny as that is, Uma Thurman getting her toes to wiggle is critical to the plot of that movie. It's a weird thing.
Your thumb or hand. I have an easier time with my.
She was able to move her hands. She didn't have to wiggle them.
Oh, is that
I mean,
right?
she could have just for fun, but
Wiggle your ears. That's like
no.
more, that'd be more
And what I'll
impressive.
say is, I show my feet on the internet all the time. I believe both genders can show their feet now.
That's true. That's such a good point.
Kahuna's not a bigot. Got it.
It's at that point, a little bit after that, we get introduced to Balthazar and
don't
to
put
Midnight.
this
Which
back.
Balthazar? I didn't know that guy could act. I thought he was sang for Bush.
That was a good
And there he
scene.
is.
I have to say again, the dialogue, right? The dialogue with Balthazar between him
Yeah.
and Constantine. Dude.
Yeah, I thought he played the role well, but I didn't know he was an actor. I thought he was just the singer for Bush, and there he is on screen. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
I think that's the only thing he's been in.
is it really?
I could be
I
wrong.
didn't
It's the only thing I know him in.
It was like seeing Shaq in the movie Steel. It's like, man, I thought he was just a rapper. Didn't know he was an actor. No.
Yeah.
So he shows up, and then you get Dijon Hanzu, which his character
Is that his name?
I guess, he played Midnight. Would you
Oh,
guys
okay.
like Midnight? What's your take on that character? You a fan? Not a fan?
He's the only other character that is from the comics. So
Yeah, I'm like, this is a comic character. You can just tell.
yeah. Papa Midnight, and he did a good job portraying what I guess Papa Midnight would be like in the comics. So yeah, that was cool.
Again, like a neutral space where supernatural and capable people can meet and have a neutral space. I'm like, this is just Dresden Files. Like, AC, you've read those books. Like, 100%, dude.
Well, fast forward, like, what, 15 years later, and Keanu's in John Wick, where they have the hotel that is neutral. It's like it seems like a theme for his movies.
It's a secret contractual, like, obligation. It's like, all right, guys, somewhere in this film there has to be a neutral space, a safe space. If you
We can, we can touch.
It's like Sigourney Weaver in Alien 3. There can't be any guns. You know this is an alien movie, right? There cannot be any guns. Guns are violent. Yeah, so are aliens that forcefully impregnate you. Anyway.
Yeah, seriously. It was shortly
Don't look
after
at
that.
the. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, don't look at the symbolism of the first Alien movie. That's all.
Oh, I do.
Pantsless. Oh yeah.
Regularly.
The forceful. Yeah, that's the first part of it.
Kahuna
anyway,
has his
yeah.
chicken on hand whenever he has that movie going. And
You thought foot fetishes were bad. You thought foot fetishes were bad.
Oh, I wish you had that chicken clip, AC. That'd be great.
Oh God, let me find a clip. Go ahead, Evaleighmusic.
This movie has, in my opinion, like we were talking about the special effects still holding up really well. There's a lot of just really cool scenes in this movie where,
it's just
even though
cool.
the movie, some people tell me like, oh, it's kind of boring. I'm like, well, you're kind of boring. But there's some awesome scenes in it. Even the people that think it was kind of boring enjoyed the scenes. And one of those scenes, it's like the classic horror cliche, but it's always cool, is whenever KEANU and Weiss, they're standing in front of that shop, and there's like that, I don't remember if it was Mary. There's like a religious statue. I think it was Mary.
Oh, I
She's
saw
lit
that
up,
coming.
And the lights start going, and they see like the demon guys flying overhead and stuff, and the lights go out, and then it gets down to just that statue, and then that goes dark. You're like, oh no. That scene was really cool, and they do a lot of
that scene, actually. That might be one of my favorite scenes.
Yes.
The demon fight with the bugs, also a good scene.
That I was about to bring that up. That's a great scene. I love that.
Kahuna bringing up Dresden. This is Dresden the movie.
This is as close to Dresden the movie we will ever get.
Yeah, and I think if they ever make a Dresden TV series or movie, they should just keep this like on a loop in the studio.
I don't know what Dresden is. Darkgift? Are you familiar with Dresden? Am I the?
I know the name. I just
Okay.
I don't think I've ever.
It's an urban
My man.
fantasy series
My
written
man.
by. It was written out of spite because his literary teacher in college told him he couldn't do it, and so he wrote the series out of spite. It's low fantasy. It's in Chicago. It's a wizard, and the world is very complicated. It's very funny. It's very engaging action, and the world is basically this world but better.
Is that the one that was written by what was his name? Clark C. Duncan?
No. Jim
Oh,
Butcher.
was it Gregory J. Pinkerton?
It's Jim Butcher. I told you.
I was just making up fake writer names and
Gregory J.
going along with it.
Good one, dude. That should be your pen name.
We got JJ, RJ, LJ,
No, I'm
Cool
I'm
J.
going the Lord Otter route. If I wrote a book, I'm coming up with like a band name to put on the front. And just
I know, like what about Evaleighmusic? That could work.
Yeah, that works. Emperor Evaleighmusic.
Mayhaps.
But yeah, Dresden, instead of just 100% religion based, there is a religion twist to it where he's like Sherlock Holmes kind of, and investigates a lot of the stuff. Kind of just like Constantine, man. I'm telling you, this movie is like Dresden the movie. And down to like his little tricks, you know, he pulls out the little matches with the beetles in it, like that kind of stuff. He pulls out the holy parchment and lights it on fire, and that's what like exiles the bats. You know, all these little tricks like that. That's like what Dresden does as well as a wizard, you know, but he has like spells and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The other thing is he's visited by basically an angel that like tells him what he can and cannot do, you know, when he breaks the rules and all that stuff. You know, no spoilers. He hunts demons. He's Constantine, but like a wizard, and like you have more than just demons. Like he could probably make a deal with a fairy. I think that's actually a plot point in one of the first. Like he makes a deal with a fairy to get some information on his target, and it's actually a pretty good scene. Like he has to make the promise 3 times and shit like that. Anyway, if you guys haven't checked it out, check it out. It's pretty good.
Does he also make a priest friend guy drink himself to death, not realizing that he's drinking when he thinks he can't? That scene messed me up. I was like watching it. I'm talking to my wife because she loves this movie too, and I'm like, what is going on? Because the guy wasn't drinking, and now he's like throwing up motor oil. Like, what is happening? And then they tell it later. And I was like, dude, that's such a mean trick. Like,
and again,
you're going out that way, and the guy didn't even get to enjoy what he was drinking. I was like, that's brutal.
Again, that's playing on the whole idea of like your inner demons too. Like he has a drinking demon inside of him, basically. Like a demon, and if I remember right, it's Balthazar using like his demon magic to do that, right? So yeah,
that was another scene that guy was good in. He didn't even have I think he had one line where he just like whispers something or something.
Oh, he's like, yeah. I took note of this because it's so like it's actually way more brutal than the actor even made it seem. He's like, word on the street is you're going down, you know? And he's like, it's just like he's got the swing to his dialogue, and he's like, oh, fresh meat, you know? And he's like, you know? And it's like, oh, like the demons are going to eat him. Oh, wait a minute. They probably are literally going to eat him. Oh my God. Like even more brutal. Yeah. That's some good shit. I love the dialogue in this movie, dude.
So the dude's dead. Constantine goes. He sees a symbol on the guy's hand. He follows it back to the sister or whatever, and she breathes on the window, which I thought was kind of funny. He's like, "No, there's a clue in here. You gotta find it." And like, she won't let her leave. And it's like he's just constantly this poor girl. He's always like, he might as well just be slapping her like every time. Like, no, you get in the bathtub. Shut up. Figure it out. And so she breathes on the window, and she sees Corinthians 17:1. I'm like, hold on, Corinthians 17:1. And if you read that, it ends at what 16, and it has like nothing to do with what they're talking about. I'm like, throw it at the end of Revelation. That would have made a lot more sense in terms of if somebody's going to take 5 seconds to look this up, they'll be like, wait a minute. It's almost it's like Gabriel. It's like it doesn't matter, but if you dig into it, it's like, why didn't they just make this one little edit? It would make so much more sense.
But he explains the 17:1, but my issue with that was like, it was a crime scene. It's now no longer a crime scene. They probably came in and cleaned the room.
That's a thought.
Yeah.
Why is the smudging? Like, no one cleaned the window?
No one wiped it down. Good thing, because the movie ended there like, oh no, the window's clean, no clues, and then that's it.
Well, this movie is so delightfully dirty that like I hate when a modern movie is so clean, everything's clean. I'm like, I'd rather have the obnoxious garbage from like Blade 1 than have an obnoxiously like clean.
No, I get what you're saying, but like the rest of the room was immaculate. Like he's running his fingers on everything. Everything is clean. So they came in and they cleaned the room so the next patient could come in.
Yep.
They didn't clean the window, but no, he explains. I don't know if you missed it when they get in. And she says, "I thought it ends at 16," and he goes, "The Bible in hell goes to 21."
Yes, but why Corinthians? Like, if you read the first 16 books of Corinthians, they have
Yeah.
nothing to do with any of this. But if you go Revelation, that makes more sense. Like the end times, bring forth.
Oh,
the son
I
of
get what you're
Satan.
saying. I get what
Yeah,
you're
They
saying.
could have picked a
just
much.
made it-
They could have picked a very
Yeah.
different book.
Just
though.
make it a missing book in Revelation. I'd have been like, oh yeah, that makes more sense. Instead, it's like, oh yeah, this guy's writing letters to churches about like things they should do, and then it's like, oh, and now this is how you get.
It's like Corinthians, you guys are
And I'm like-
effing up. You're kind of retarded. Also, let me
It's-
tell you about the devil and his son.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you would not even. It's just like whatever, just run with it and all that. But I'm just like, it's just one of those little writing things. Just change it to this other book, and it all clicks into place. Again, minor hang up, but I'm like, was there not anybody on the team here that could be like, hey guys, excuse me guys, actually,
Yeah.
I,
You know?
I think they were more concerned about being fun.
Yeah, they were trying to have fun.
homie. Don't you
That's
dare!
what
You
it
can have
seemed
fun
like,
and
yeah.
still do that.
I will use your word against you.
Somebody probably just thought Corinthians sounded cooler. You
Yeah,
know what I
It
mean?
might have been, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
this is sick.
Revelations is
Yeah.
too, end times. You're talking about the end times in this movie.
They're
What
like-
do you mean?
At that point in the movie, they're like, guys, we've already gone so far out of pocket as far as bastardizing the source material with the comics. Let's just say whatever the fuck we want for the Bible. I mean,
I honestly,
Gabriel-
if that was the conversation, like there, you watch the behind the scenes extras, and that's the conversation, I'd almost respect that. I'd be like, they just didn't
Right.
care. I'd be like, okay,
Right.
that's fair.
I imagine that's the case. It's like they're like Constantine reading the Bible. He's like, and that's when Moses bitch slapped the demon. Slap him.
Dude, I love that part.
Like the
That's a
Bible
good part,
says.
man.
yeah.
Oh, let's see. Oh,
Also,
yeah.
Dark Rift, dude, your setup in there is it's a lot,
Yeah.
but it's cool, dude. I
love it.
I like the setup. I like all the colors. I can't even see all the figurines, but I was trying to figure out what some of them were earlier.
Oh, back here?
Yeah, you got a big old couple stacks up back there. Yeah.
I'm a fan of busy. The busier, the better, as far as I'm concerned. It probably breaks some
Nice.
like algorithm or something, but I don't know. Actually, maybe that's not right. I don't know. I dig it. There's stuff back there, and then I gotta sit
Yeah.
here and wonder, oh, what's back there? Maybe one day he'll do like a reveal video where we get close-ups of all that stuff, and that's interesting.
I can do that. But right in the foreground, it's the Universal monsters. You got Wolfman, Frankenstein.
I saw Frankenstein. I was wondering what the rest
Creature.
were.
There's another Frankenstein from Son of Frankenstein, and then the mummies in the back. And then
yeah.
I have what I call the new monsters. So I got Freddy Krueger, Jason. I got two Jasons actually.
Where's your
Pinhead
mom?
and one of the clowns from Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Oh, dude, that movie. I can't believe they made a figure for that movie.
Yeah, they actually had a few. And
Oh,
then
that's
I've got
great.
my Karate Kid figures, Daniel, Johnny, and Kreese from the '80s. Those the
Yes.
action
I
figures.
don't. I actually don't know what those figures look like. I've never seen them.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah,
I assume they look
Also, bringing up Frankenstein. Ooh,
Yes,
dude, that's dope. That's cool.
It is.
His eyes are kind of looking different directions, but that's what I love
That's
about
alright.
those older figures. No way.
Kick action.
classic.
Springs still work.
I love in that movie. He's like the crane kick, if properly executed, cannot be defended against. I'm like, you mean the most projected kick of all time? No.
Maybe that's why it catches you off guard, because you know it's coming. You can't do anything about it.
It's Johnny.
You got the headband too. That's great, dude.
Yes.
What do you think about that new movie that's coming out? I like Cobra Kai for what it is, but yeah, I'm curious about this new movie.
It looks like it's going to be serious because how are you going to take the Karate Kid, which is an '80s movie, so there's a lot of what they did in Cobra Kai was they extended that where you just have to accept that this is what it is, like that suspension of disbelief, you know, like that big fight scene in the high school. That would never happen today, but they have to do something like that because they're coming off of the Karate Kid movies, which was very exaggerated in the 80s, right? But now they're merging the Karate Kid remake. Now it's no longer a remake. Now it's in canon.
Yeah,
which was very serious.
Explain the Chinese karate to me. I want to know.
Okay. All right. So one loose end that never got tied up in Cobra Kai. This is my theory. One loose end from Cobra Kai that didn't get tied up was Miyagi killing somebody in that tournament.
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm wondering if that's how Miyagi is connected to
Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan's character somehow.
What if
I I give it shit, but actually I didn't mind that Karate Kid with like the only good movie with Will Smith's son, the only one.
Right.
Oh, maybe Pursuit of Happiness too. Yeah, that was fine.
No, the one where they're like on that foreign planet was really good. Was it?
No,
accurate?
it wasn't.
It was really, really.
No
good.
one in
It
history of
was,
the world
good.
has said that.
It made a lot of
Justin.
money. The IMDb rating's very high. Everyone.
That's what
enjoyed
she
it.
said.
Let's wrap up Constantine quick, and then we'll move
Yeah,
on
we're
to
getting
some
close to
dark
the end here.
talk.
We're getting close to the end here. It's
Getting
at that
close to
point,
the end.
she gets in the tub. We get that awesome scene. Another excellent scene of water blowing.
Oh no,
water.
Rachel Weisz in a tub. Oh no.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
watching. I'm like, ooh,
Music
boy,
video
dude.
again. Yeah.
She's like,
Oh,
what
also
happens? You
also
don't know
him
when it's-
constantly not kissing her throughout the entire movie. I love that joke. I love that it was recurring, and I love that that was the direction they went with that.
At the very end, she pulls it on him.
I know, that was great. That was great. I was like,
Yeah.
they brought it all the way back around.
Yep. Shortly after that, he confronts Balthazar. You know, she's got her little vision quest and all that. And he's got the holy brass knuckles.
So good.
If that wasn't a prop that they sold and marketed, shame on them. Because I saw them like, this is so dumb, and it's kind of awesome.
I love it.
Sort of love it. Yeah.
Van Helsing
Like
wishes they
Poncho.
thought of that.
I know. I'm like,
With Hugh Jackman.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I know. I was just reading a story today with knuckle dusters. I'm like, not as cool as these knuckle dusters, but it's fine.
Yeah. So it was then the scene that you mentioned earlier where she gets video music sucked through the walls, and it's like 1,000 walls, and she just gets sucked into space or whatever. That's when that scene happens, which is really cool. Again, special effects. There's some good scenes in this movie. I don't care if you don't like the story. You can't watch it and not think this movie doesn't. There's too many negatives in that sense. It has some cool scenes and some cool like cinematic tricks.
No, I'm working, buddy.
And the environments too. You mentioned. I can't. Movies in cities like already you're losing me a little bit. So the fact that there was some texture to the walls in the buildings and it's like reflecting his, a lung condition and all that, like that's fine. I prefer beauty on screen. I like to be, I like to look at beautiful things. But it was fine. I like that aspect.
That's why you like all of my videos, right?
That's right. That's why I'd always recommend
I knew it.
one of you in the shower. I'm like, why does this keep happening? I guess I'll watch it for the 10th time. I don't know.
Everyone, like, I had someone ask me, it's like, why is he shirtless? I'm like, dude, do you know where you are?
Oh yeah.
Because it's beautiful, good, and true. That's why.
And then they have the chair that they put him in, which I thought that was kind of odd. In the comic, it might make more sense. And just like, oh, get in this chair. People were in this chair. I thought that was kind of odd.
Yeah.
And then coming up on the end here, they enter the building because Manuel brings the Spear of Destiny into the place because this is another little detail. Was like, what? They're using the blood on the spear, so it's supposed to be the blood from Jesus, and they talk about how it killed him. It didn't. Jesus was not killed by the spear.
Yeah,
But,
like if we're going to pull out a Bible, we have to throw out this whole movie. But
then they take the blood
Yeah,
and it's supposed to be
it's
wait, Jesus is supposed to be like the savior of mankind, and instead they use the blood to bring forth. I'm like, I understand what you're doing, but it doesn't make sense. Like the lore doesn't connect. I'm like, this is just weird.
Yeah.
Why didn't just make it the spear is so evil because it was involved in the process that it has this power? That would have made more sense. Not a little change they could have done would have made more sense to me.
can
But,
I point something out? I'm going to keep on
No.
bringing up Dresden because
No.
this is Dresden in the movie. But like Dresden would pull biblical things into the story of those books, but they did it in a smarter way. Like it was something that was plausible. It's like there are these 20 demons. It was like, oh, it's because if you hold this coin, this ancient Roman coin, it's like, oh, it's because this is the 20 pieces of silver that was given to Judas in exchange for Jesus. So they're cursed coins, and to hold one is to invite a demon to, inhabit your life somewhat. It's like it makes a bit more sense. Like if they were concerned about it at all, they could have put a little forethought. I don't think they gave a shit.
Yeah. So it was at that point they put the. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, just a little quick, Judas, this 30 pieces of silver that Judas got, the movie that really used that lore really well, Dracula 2000.
Oh,
Did you guys ever see that?
Yeah, a long
The
time ago.
the whole reason why vampires are allergic to silver was because Dracula was actually Judas, and so the
That's
silver.
interesting.
Yeah.
interesting.
And he's
Yeah, that's
cursed
like an
and kind of
interesting
immortal. Like that's an interesting take on that lore too. I always thought that was neat.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah. That's
Horrible acting in that movie, but good story.
We can with movies from a certain era, we can forgive bad performance for good ideas.
Oh yeah. So
right,
coming
go
to the
ahead.
end here, they put the cross. Shia LaBeouf puts the cross in the
What was his name?
water pump. Shia LaBeouf.
Okay,
He
just
puts the
checking.
cross in the holy water in the thing. They turn on the sprinklers. They have that fight scene. It's kind of a cool action scene. It was kind of dumb. He's just
Of
he
course
walks
it
in.
is,
He's
but
like,
it's
"I'm gonna
great."
fight you guys." I thought for sure it was not gonna trigger the sprinklers, and he was gonna have a time. Instead, he goes in there. He says his one-liner. It works, and then he's shotgunning guys. I'm like, why? Don't
Also,
you set up
his
the one in
line,
the hallway,
"Go to hell."
and then like peek in the window and see how it's going. You know, I know it'd make a worse scene, but in terms of the logics of it, again.
Yeah.
What threw
that
me off
happens
about
there.
that scene
Keep
was
on
you only
bringing up
see
logic, Justin. I
you
don't
only
know if
see
that
him make
belongs here.
like 6 bullets, but like he's got like 4 clips. I'm like,
Yeah, he's got another drum. I'm like, where do you pull that? Actually, I don't know where.
It's like,
he got
what
the
is this?
drum
Is this
from.
a Keltec product? Why is there so much ammo?
Right. So then they get the demon in Rachel Wise's stomach. We get the reveal that Gabriel is actually bad. Ooh, are you subversive?
Oh, in this
Did I
movie,
get
you don't
Did I get
say.
ya? I'm like, I would have.
I do love that there was such an immediate consequence to Gabriel
Steven.
being a piece of shit. I'm like, I don't mind
Yeah.
seeing this character have a punishment.
That was fine, but don't make it Gabriel. It's not a little thing. Just make it like Greg or something.
The-
Like,
oh, yeah, the
Angel Greg?
Archangel
We got
Greg,
no lore
yeah.
on him? All right, I guess
Well,
I'll roll with it. Like, it's
it
fine.
would have worked if in the first scene, right? So in the first scene, he's talking to her. He's like, "Oh, no, woe is me" to her, and her initial response is one of like, "Well, you know, you did this. Well, you know, you did that," trying to basically explain why he's in the predicament he's in. But then they end the whole scene with her going, "You're fucked," right? Like, so like they make her off as a piece of shit
Yep.
Yeah.
angel off the bat.
From the very
So
beginning.
so there's no real like, so when you see her, you're like, well, yeah, because she was a dick earlier. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
I thought it was more effective.
Narratively, it's called kicking the dog, because like the old trope is you introduce the villain by having him walk on screen and then kick a dog for no reason, and then now the audience hates them. So what you do is you have Gabriel come on screen and act a certain way to make us not like her. So she
Right.
kicked the dog. Yeah.
but if they wanted a good reveal, they should have like had that scene where like she was more sympathetic to him,
Exactly.
right?
Yep.
So it was more of a surprise at the end. Like he'd be like, "Whoa," you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
They're free to do that these days. I don't know what it is.
They dropped the ball on that. Like, I think if they made her like more of a benevolent character in her first appearance, it would have had a bigger impact as a twist at the end. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that in the context. of-
Different way. They could. I think that whole character just should have been workshopped a bit more.
Yes, I
In
would
general.
have preferred they just drop her as in somebody he interacts with. Period. And there's clues that there's some other entity that is behind things. That's why Manuel got the spear. That's why this is happening. And you're not clued in on it, but it's like really scary and all this. So whenever at the end she shows up, instead of being like, "Got your neck," are you surprised? Did I get you? Did I make you think that? Instead, it's just like, "Oh crap! It's that other scary guy. That's like the linchpin, that piece that's putting all the puzzle together." And now we got to confront this, and we don't know anything about this enemy. I would have preferred that, like a dark, scary, crazy-looking demon. Because even whenever it's shortly after that, she blows literally on Constantine. He goes flying, he's dead, his lungs and this and that. And then Lucifer shows up. I'm like, "Yo, this is gonna be crazy." And Lucifer shows up, and that's that guy. I don't even know his name. He's
And-
all these things like, "Oh,
Animation Overload brings up a good point. You thought it was Gabriel, but it was me, Dio. No, AC brought up kicking the dog as a narrative tool in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Dio, the enemy, like for the first 3 seasons, the first thing you see him do on screen is kick a dog after his father's funeral. Comes up, the dog's like runs up, no reason, just kicks a dog in the throat for no reason. I'm like, oh, okay, so he's the bad guy. Got it. Figured it out.
Exactly.
So time stops. With all that, he makes a deal with Lou. Because he sacrifices himself at the end in order to save the lady. Like things work out where he was doomed to hell because of actions he had took, but now he was getting himself out of that. Basically, he saves the girl. Everything's cool. You get the exploding water, and then Lucifer is going to lose Constantine. He's going to go to heaven. He didn't think he had a shot, but because he sacrificed himself to save her, now he was going to get into the pearly gate. So Lucifer removes Constantine's lung cancer, which is in the process of, ending him, so that he has a chance to maybe mess up before he runs out of time again, so that Lucifer can get him back. that was kind of that was a cool little setup. It was predictable, but it was fine. I don't have a problem with predictability. You know, if you're paying attention to the clues, stories can only go in so many directions. I don't need to have some crazy twist or whatever to be like, oh wow. I'm just like, that made sense. What made sense happened. My brain, this, blah, blah, blah. And that's what happened. And it was all good. The exploding water, blowing up water always looks cool. Anytime you blow up, it's like sparks. It's like 1980s sparks. They always look badass. They're always awesome. Blow up water.
Anyone rising
sparks,
out
they're
of a
always
fluid
good.
in a movie from the 90s and 2000s,
Yes.
I'm there for it. I'm there
Always
for it.
good. Always good.
We have the best fluids. You wouldn't believe it.
And as Constantine is floating off into heaven, he gets the middle finger up.
That was cool. Yeah.
just like, come on. It's so 2000. I love it. It was great.
Also, it's one of the, like, easily one of the best depictions of Satan on screen.
Yeah, I don't mind that actor playing him. I thought he did an alright job. Like, I thought the way that they played him, like, because you see all these other demons, you even see the son of Lucifer, and you're expecting him to be similar.
Yeah, like
And-
monstrous and wild, and you know.
Yeah.
And he looks just like everybody else.
What if Lou showed up? He's like, all right, Constantine, you're causing a lot of problems. Man.
Also, thank you, early to the mid 2000s, for not making Lucifer the good guy. Holy crap!
Yeah, that's true.
If you threw a dime at me every time that happened in the last 15 years of cinema, I'd be wealthy, dude. Freaking all over the place. Like, oh, actually, Satan's maybe the good guy. No,
They cut it pretty close with Gabriel. Not gonna lie.
yeah,
It's kind of riding that line. Yeah.
Gabriel's human at the end. And then Constantine gives the spear, which he gets from the whole thing after she's been saved and Lucifer goes away and Constantine's healed. He gives the spear to Angela, to Weiss, and that's how we wrap. So that is the film Constantine. If you didn't get a chance to watch it, it's definitely worth watching. But if you didn't, now hopefully you feel like you did.
Did you guys not see the post-credit scene?
Oh, wait.
yeah.
Yes, but now I'm already forgetting, even though I watched it 2 days ago. Remind me.
So he goes to visit Shia LaBeouf's character, dies, right? Finally getting action, and he dies. So he goes at the post-credit scene. He goes to the gravesite, and he leaves his lighter because he quit smoking at the end of the movie. He's chewing gum. So he goes, "You did good, kid," and he puts the lighter on the tombstone, and he walks away, and from behind Constantine's head, you see angel wings.
Yep.
So he turns around, and Shia LaBeouf's character is now an angel, perched on the tombstone, and then he just flies away. So I'm wondering, do humans become angels, or was he always an angel and was able? Well, with this movie, we don't know, but like we don't know. Or was he always an angel keeping an eye on Constantine and just was really good at hiding it?
I like that second part theory better.
Yep.
For this movie, I think that makes more sense. When I saw that, that's where my brain went. I'm like, oh, so God was always with him, just like
because he gives him a sly little look, like because Constantine turns around and just looks at him and is a little surprised, but not quite surprised, and then Shia just kind of gives him like a little smirk and then takes off.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's how I read the scene, and that could have just been Shy like putting a little flair into that moment to just like try to imply something maybe. Yeah. And I don't know if it was a directorial choice or just like an acting choice, but I like it. I like that theory.
Yeah, and as far as effects go, from the angle that they used for him taking off the tombstone was friggin'. Like the way, and then he goes straight up into the air, the wings, the whole nine. It was beautiful.
The wings appearing behind Keanu as he's walking away. That's a great shot. There are a lot of cool, creative shots in this movie.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, I was just thinking about like a possible sequel. I'm like, I got it. So like immediately after this first film, he relapses, starts smoking again. The second movie is him 20 years later, also with cancer again.
They're supposedly doing a sequel.
Yes, that's what. Before we get into the sequel, let's do the quick rundown of Sink or Float, and let's talk about that for a minute. So, I mean, I kind of get the vibe here. I'll start it off, and I'll pass it over to Kahuna as he's having some munchies over there. For me, I didn't think this movie knocked it out of the park, but there's enough good stuff here on the whole, and it's very pretty. That $100 million budget, you can tell. For a 2005 movie, it holds up really well. There's some really cool scenes here. And these movies, I don't know, you don't see too many of them. It's not a skyship, but this thing, in my mind, absolutely a floater. Kahuna, what say you?
It floats. This movie did exactly what it wanted to do. It's the closest where everyone gets to a live-action Dresden movie. It was ridiculously fun, and I can't believe I hadn't seen it before. I really enjoyed this film.
Good deal.
One of my favorite Keanu performances, also, for what that's worth.
I agree. I think it's one of my favorite Keanu movies. One of my favorite comic book movies, even though it's far from accurate. Like, it doesn't always have to be accurate. Just don't go too nutty with it. And they didn't go too nutty with it. And it was just supposed to be a supernatural action flick, and that's what it was.
Because of when it was made, it was actually fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they weren't allowed to make like, not everything had to be super dour the entire film. This movie knew what it was, and it tried to be serious, funny, dark, like the whole thing. It tried to do the gambit of emotions, which I appreciate.
Like the scene where the scene where, like, right before he drowns her, you know, which was like really the look on her face. She pulled that off. Like, are you not letting me up? You know, but
Yeah.
Keanu pulled that off too. I'm like, I believe you could drown a woman in a bathtub.
She she takes her jacket off. She gives him the gun, gives him the badge, and she goes, "What about the rest of my clothes? Do they stay or do they go?"
Like,
and he's just staring down at the floor, and she goes, "John." He goes, "Thinking." She goes, "John," like, and then he goes, "They can stay on," like, you know, like that scene would be just that scene alone would be ripped through the mills in certain spheres, and you know.
Oh, yeah,
for sure. Also, the first time he put his hand in the tub, like, to hold her down, I thought he was just gonna, like, grab something, dude. I'm like, what are you doing, dude?
Right.
Oh, Christ.
All right, AC, sink or float.
Float.
All right, that's 4 floats, gentlemen. Somebody got a clip they can play that represents our thoughts on the movie?
Floating. I don't have a clip. I can't do it.
That might have been it. That might have. Oh,
AC.
There it is. Now, we were talking about the sequel. You were mentioning that a sequel is in the works. So what are the thoughts on a potential sequel for this one?
I think it could be good, but I have a feeling they'll ruin it.
That's
Keanu does
kinda
have a
where I'm
lot of,
coming
like,
from.
sway, though. Like, I don't know. Like, if someone could force a project to be not shit, he's one of those guys. I think he could maybe do that.
Can you
I
force
don't know. Look at the fourth Matrix.
I'd rather not, Dark, bro.
I never saw that one. What
Yeah,
else has he
don't.
done in the past
Neil,
few years?
you ever want to see Neil Patrick Harris in The Matrix? No, thank you.
No,
Anyway.
I didn't.
He wasn't even a problem either. I'm just bitching.
You know, the whole story was he did the best he could with what they gave him. What you call it? I mean, he's only really done that in the John Wick movies, and the only thing you could really say about the John Wick movies is they just kind of go off the rails. I haven't seen the fourth one yet. I do want to see
I
it,
haven't seen that one yet. Yeah.
but you know, like, the first one's awesome. The second one's you get a little, you know, but by the third one, it's like the underworld is so big. It's like how is this even a secret?
Why is this? Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
So, but
I
they're still good.
I do love when he arrives in Rome. It's like, are you here to kill the Pope? I need to know.
But I mean, they're still good, even for as off the rails as they get. They're still good in a certain sense. So yeah, he's hardly done any really bad movies that I can think of.
I have some opinions about Keanu. I like him. I would not when I describe actors and actresses, I put him more in, like, the Jason Statham category. Range is not really a factor. Not a lot of range. I think he's really good in certain roles. Mm-hmm. And I don't think he has the range to pull off other roles. Like, I saw him in a romance movie once, and wow, that sure was a film. Oh yeah, A Walk to Remember, that's what it was called. Yeah, and it was one of the films of all time.
Script's fault. In terms of the sequel, I'm more or less with you. I I want to be excited for it, and I'm like, please start production far enough out from now that it can actually be good. And I guess good at this point is going to be, instead of being here and it's total crap, over here is actual good off camera. It's going to be like over here a little bit, because I feel like that's going to be the next move. Things have been so garbage for so long, they can't go in the opposite direction to where they should be. It's going to be, how far can we walk it back? Where can we walk it back before people will start showing up again and tuning in? I think it's going to be one of those, but it's
Kinda
a cool
like-
story. Like, they could do
Kind of like
so
The
much with it.
Mandalorian. Like
Yeah.
The Mandalorian
Oh.
wasn't great, but it was just good enough that people were like, "Oh, thank God!" Like, you
See,
know,
the end of season 2 had me so excited.
Same
The
brainwave.
end of season 2 had me so excited, and then like I watched one episode of season 3, I'm like, oh, they've already lost the plot. All right,
I
never
watched
mind. I'm
season
out.
1, and that's why I agree completely with him. I'm like, this isn't terrible. That was my takeaway
good.
from season 1.
Season 1 and season
Oh
2
my
are
God,
it's
this
a
is
it's a
incredible.
decent
This is the
show
best
with
thing
some
ever.
bad
You know, you're
parts.
just thirsty, man.
After that, it's a very bad show with some good moments. But
If you
yeah,
watch the original trilogy and then watch that, you'll be like,
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing too. So some people were like, "Oh, this happened. This was a little campy. This was," and I'm like, "Well, you know, you have to understand they are making a TV show. This isn't a movie, right?
Sure.
You know." So they like the scene in season 1 where the two stormtroopers and like they're talking about how they miss how they miss and one guy
I
gets shot.
thought that scene was great. I don't give a
It was
crap.
funny.
I liked
It was
that
funny,
scene. It was
but it
hilarious,
was
yeah.
it was meant for it to be in a TV. If you put that in a movie, if you put that in an actual Star Wars movie, I would have been like, "What are you doing?" You
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
But for a TV show, I'm like, "All right, I'll go with that." It made me chuckle. All right, you know, like it's
Yeah.
cool.
Also, Bill Burr can act when he tries to. Who knew? Anyway.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
acting, oh, it's brutal. Out here, storm, oh, it's brutal. Brutal
You're
out
good
here.
at those voices, dude. It's crazy.
You're pretty good
Yeah,
at
just-
like
you just say
you're good
Burr.
at like northeastern voices for some reason. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Why do you think I'm good at Northeast only? What is that? What's this guy?
You're fucking Mark Wahlberg, dude.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll wait and see with the sequel. It might be a while. It hasn't actually been confirmed. It's closer than it's ever been. So we'll see. And it's been a while. I don't know.
Yeah, because I think hold on real quick. I think it says in February 25, Reeves revealed in an interview he and Lawrence recently developed a story and presented it to DC Studios, receiving approval to proceed with writing a script
Ooh, there we go.
Ooh.
after having attempted to create a follow-up
Wait,
for over a
who was the
decade.
writer on that? Could you say I was writing it?
Him and Lawrence, who is I think one of the writers of the original.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Might be something.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, that doesn't mean much though, because DC's kind of just like, what if we just tried everything, and then didn't commit to any of it?
Right?
Go on. You have my ear and my wallet. Go on.
Right, but right now, like I have this conversation right now. Like the age of the Hollywood star is done. Right, the last two Hollywood actual big name stars that are still working, Tom Cruise and Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
That's it, and they're in their 50s.
One of them has an entire church
They're
backing
actually-
them, and the other one just everybody loves because we haven't discovered his deep dark secret yet. But that's all coming out too.
He's
I
a
don't
foot
think he
and a half.
has
Dude, it
one.
doesn't matter. Tom Cruise is a quack who worships a lizard king, but he makes good movies.
It doesn't matter
Right.
what he does either, because like even if it comes out, he has that entire church backing him. Like he'll even have like full movie theaters and shit. even
Wait, a
if
lizard
everybody
king?
else-
Kahuna, I want to hear more about this. Please tell me.
I was just
Wait,
saying
give you-
something equally ridiculous to some of the things I've
There's
heard.
no
about,
lizard
but-
king? Dang. Maybe
There
not.
was in Parks and Rec, yeah. Like there's this remember that cult in town? It's like they're like, oh, the Lizard King, like the giant lizard Zord is going to destroy the Earth, and he'll take his faithful followers to the next realm, and yeah, and then Ron Swanson is using it as a capitalist moment to sell flutes. It was great,
Yeah,
great movie.
But yeah, I mean, both those stars are in their 50s. I think Cruise might be pushing 60.
Yeah,
I
And
feel like
and so if DC Studios has Keanu Reeves, who's hot right now, coming off the John Wick movies, coming up saying we want to do this, and they're of course they're gonna be like, yeah, go ahead, go write the script, let's see what you got. You know, they want him. They're gonna want him.
Reeves is 60 right now today, and Cruiser is 62 right now today. So they're
Oh,
up there.
there you go. Yeah, so they're up there.
Yeah, they're getting there. They're getting the high score. Soon they can enter their initials. They're getting to that point almost.
Man, they both got such high scores at this point. I got an idea though. How about we transition into Dark Gifts comics?
Oh,
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, let's do it.
what are we doing?
Oh, just
Transitioning into your
tell us
comics.
about your
didn't you?
project. Toss your link in the private chat. I'll share it with the chat here and pull it
Oh,
up on
cool.
screen. We'll go through it if you got it like a project or anything.
Yeah, I've got a couple going on right now. Real quick, just so you know, the link I dropped in the private chat is the end credit scene for those who didn't watch it. This way you guys don't have to go skim through
yeah.
the whole movie. You guys can go watch that on your own. It's a really good scene. You should check it out.
All right, I'll share that. Copy.
There you go. There's my there's the campaign that I'm really focusing on right now. But if you go to darkgiftcomics.com, you can kind of check out all the stuff we got going on. So right now we've got Doc Blaylock's A Damn Dirty Thing, a Pariah story, which is shipping currently.
Nice.
And it's a 20-page floppy, perfect bound floppy, black and white, supernatural noir. And it also, so we're like I said, we're shipping now. So this is the comic. And there's also a 116-page novella that goes more in depth into the story.
Oh, cool. I like
Yeah.
that.
So, and we've got about 6 different artists did about 12 different illustrations. So there's some illustrations peppered throughout the.
So it's more of like a pulp than like a.
Yes.
There you go.
It's not even there's not even chapters. It's just one straight through read. Yeah. So, yeah. Like, let me see if I can.
Yeah, it's how many pages is that? It's like the perfect length.
116 if you count the just the story. Yeah, 116 with just the story, and not counting the credit page. But yeah, we got some really cool artists. I did 2 illustrations. Doc did 5. John Dillard did 1.
Oh yeah, John Dillard. Yeah, he's cool.
James D. Lee, Stephen Brown. Trying to think of everybody. We had quite a few artists handle the illustrations, and that it was really good. This is gonna be so. Doc has 2 series: the Pariah Saga and the Jake Bishop Files. This book is the first book in the Jake Bishop Files. Technically, the second book in the Pariah Saga. So
black and white is hard to do. It feels like a lot of people have forgotten how to do black and white, like they used to.
Well, Doc is not just an illustrator, but he's also a fine artist. So a lot of his inks before he went digital were done with brush and stuff like that. So he's got a real grasp on like doing the grayscale shadowing and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can see that. That's cool.
And you guys are close to funding on this too. You're you're 94%.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you guys are right there then. Yeah.
$600 some off from funding.
Yeah, and we already started shipping. We were like, we didn't even wait to fund. We just went ahead and started getting stuff made and shipping the books. So
yeah, $9 for the novella, not bad at all. 95 for the whole damn thing.
Yeah, you guys are not $600 off from funding. You're much closer than that. We're under 200. I did my math wrong because it's late.
That math ain't mathin'.
Real close to funding, yeah.
Yeah, we try to like, we're not, people are like, oh, you're underselling yourselves. People are going to see such a low price point. They're going to think it's crap. And it's like I said, I mean, it's a floppy, but it's perfect bound. High quality paper stock. Doc's story and art is amazing. We try to keep it
Dude,
low.
he needs to calm down with these silhouettes, my dude. Like, holy smokes.
Calm up.
Well, because it's all the chicks. Well, we try to.
No, I'm joking. Don't calm down. Go harder. No.
Yeah. We're taking a hit. profit wise, but we want to make it affordable. We're not in the best of economies. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So we want people to buy the book.
Rather people read it than.
Yeah. So how do you go about doing that, especially with a new no-name creator? You make a $7 floppy. You make a $12 graphic novel. You make a $9 novella. You know what I mean? Certain things we couldn't really go too low on. Tapestries, coffee mugs, stuff like that. You know, it is what it is.
There's a hard price point on certain items, obviously.
Yeah. But, you know, free trading cards, you know, that we, you know, so that's Pariah Blood and Mud. That was Doc's first book.
That's a cool mug. I have so many coffee mugs. I'm very selective, but this is a cool mug.
Yeah. We're actually getting those printed up, made right now. And actually, the mugs themselves were made in the United States. The woman who does it is local to Doc. She's his neighbor.
That's cool.
So she prints
really cool.
she prints the mugs for us. She does the sublimation, and her materials are made that she uses are made here in the United States.
Nice.
So,
That's really rare, sadly.
yeah.
At least for now.
Well, that's why they're
I have a bunch of
$18 a
Legos in the
piece.
garage. They put it together. They are in America, so it's from America.
But the thing is, you drink 36 cups of coffee out of that mug, you know, it pays for itself in no time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Question for you though, and this is something I think I've asked before, and I always forget the answer. Is it like if you had a choice, you got a buyer in front of you, and they say, okay, I want to buy this digital or physical. Which one puts more money in your pocket? What is the answer there?
That's a good question.
Well, obviously, I mean, because Doc is the sole creator, there's not a lot of overhead. We're not paying other artists and stuff like that. So technically, digital, there's no, you know, it's all profit, right? At that point. So,
there's no shipping to worry about, no packaging, no.
Yeah,
Well,
shipping
Amazon charges you for shipping on digital. They
Shipping
charge
can be
you
a
by the
lot,
megabyte,
so, I mean,
or millibyte, or whatever.
do they really?
They do. They treat it like they're because it's changing hands. They view it like they're handling something physical, and thus they have their own metric worked out where they have like a sort of like tax for you, like and yeah, they act like it's like some sort of physical thing.
Oh no.
Also, this working number.
Yes.
That's a cool idea. That's a neat marketing.
I know, but I'm a little upset because I gotta change that because no one told me that I use Google Talk or Google Voice or whatever, and no one told me that if you don't like log into your account after a certain amount of time, you lose the number.
Oh no!
And I have a bunch of cards made up with that number, and I can't get it back. So. I'm getting a new number, and I'm gonna have to try to be creative on how because I'm gonna have to work it onto the. I'm not going and buying new cards, you know. So I'll have to figure out a way to patch up the card. So, but yeah, it was a working number, and we have a bunch of voicemails. We're having a contest. I wish we can keep the contest going, but obviously I can't right now until I get the new number. But if you leave a voice, we're gonna go through the ones that we have already, and you know whoever leaves the best voicemail, we're gonna win something. Yeah. And once I get the new number, we'll carry that going. But right now, yeah, it sucks. I was like, man, no one told me that. Like you know what I mean? Like that's such a stupid rule. Like why would you do that?
Yeah.
And they have no customer support, so I can't even like call somebody up and be like, "Yo, listen, I got like 150 business
They have a
cards."
number with their own website that they also forgot about, and that's the customer support.
Yeah. So, yeah, once we get that, we'll get that going again. And if we hit 4,000, we're going to be doing an audio book for. We have a. What made me think of it is we have two really good friends. One's a phenomenal artist. I don't know how he does it, but they're both legally blind and they can't really read. So we're going to do an audio book. And what happens is not only are you going to get an MP3 version, but I'll get it put on Audible. So if you have an Audible account, and I'll give you a code so that you just add it to your collection for free.
Yeah. Nice.
This is Audible.
Yeah. So if you, I wouldn't play the whole thing because it's 7 minutes long. But if you want to check out, it's gonna be it's gonna play more like a radio play. If you want to check out like the first like 30 seconds.
More like a graphic
I love
audio.
those, dude.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
Real
like,
quick, sorry. This is giving me Summer with Sasquatch flashbacks. A little PTSD, I'll be frank. And don't worry about what that is. You can Google it later. Traumatized.
It's exactly what it sounds like.
It's exactly what it sounds like.
But then worse. Oh.
It's copyright free, don't worry.
Heck yeah.
And struck down. No. I think I might get pregnant if I listen to this.
Money. It's always about the money. There was no movement in Morelli's official banking records, but there was absolutely no chance he was living low. Not Morelli. No, wherever he had planted himself, he'd be living in luxury, and that means money. When the mob moved money off the books, they did it through shadow bankers. There was one such individual used by the Italians, the Irish, and the Russians, and God knows who else. Whitey Doyle. If you needed money moved off the books, Doyle was your man. He operated out of a legitimate pawn shop in the business district of Iron Heights. Doyle's was the place to go if you were a whisper away from ruin, where the last shreds of dignity could be pawned for a breath of borrowed time. I park around the corner and wait. For this to work, I have to be sure that Santos still has some of his boys keeping an eye on me. I smoke a cigarette before finally getting out of the car. I walk past the pizza place and the liquor store that sells lottery tickets before entering the innocuous storefront. Two suits stand opposite in the shade of an awning over the entrance of a shoe store. Good. Inside, the shelves are filled with radios, data types, electronics, and collectibles. The walls hold rows of musical instruments. A glass counter encases glittering ranks of gold and silver rings, each of them a testimony to heartbreaks and breakups. Behind the glass counter were racks of rifles and pistols, and a 4-foot-tall Dolores. Well, Jake Bishop, how the hell are you, boy? If asphalt could talk, it would sound like Dolores. She was Whitey's sole employee and the only muscle the place needed. Her face, wrinkled and tanned, is adorned by too much makeup in a vain attempt at preserving a youth long departed. Her hot pink blouse and skirt, pearls and pumps, ridiculous on anyone else, are perfectly natural to her. Hiya, Dolores. Is he in? I smile in spite of myself. This old battle axe had sent more than one shoplifter or troublemaker to the hospital with lead in him. Yeah, he's in the back balancing the books.
So, you're muted.
Son of a bitch. No. No, that sounds good, dude. Yeah, I went kind of for the old style, got the music going, the ambiance a little bit. I'm digging at that, dude.
We're gonna, that read was from Doc doing a read on his live stream. That's why like the audio is not the greatest. When we do it, it's gonna be a lot better. But like I just clipped that. I jazzed it up on my, the best I could with the audio software, and then did a rough mix and threw that together just for the campaign sample. But we've got people lined up to play. Like he's definitely not going to do the voice of Dottie, you know what I mean? We got people lined up to actually do like some voiceover work and stuff like that. Yo, what's up, Phil?
Oh, I could do it.
Yeah. And but yeah, there's like further into that you'll hear like he lights up his cigarette, so there's the flick of the Zippo. We're gonna have all the sound effects and everything going on. Yeah, so
Very cool.
When we hit 4,000, we're gonna. I mean, I don't want to say this because I want to hit 4,000, but I may just do it anyway out of pocket. But it would really be really cool to like hit that 4,000 so we can get that done. Because like Doc's built a really cool world. Like I don't know if you caught that, but like when he was talking about the stuff in the pawn shop, he said the shelves are lined with data types and technology and stuff. So this takes place in modern times. Like we took
old school style of storytelling and you've modernized it.
It took like a card out of like Batman the Animated Series where like you couldn't really tell what year it was because of the aesthetics, but the technology was modern, right? Like the cars looked old. So Doc's idea was, in this world, the aesthetics of the 40s never went away because what's broke don't fix it. you know, in his mind.
Yeah, you look at modern architecture and just weep.
Yeah. So, but like all like the technology of today is here. So instead of computers, they call them data types. Like I forget what he calls cell phones, but they have cell phones, but it's a different name. You know, so that's kind of like a cool little, just like a very subtle little thing that like at first you're not going to catch it, but as like things start getting pointed out and talked about, you're like, wait a minute, is he talking about the computer? Like, you know, like so. You know, stuff like that. But he built this world with starting in Pariah with Elizabeth Payne, who's a witch. Who, if you've ever seen "I Spit on Your Grave," take that and make the survivor a witch. She witnesses a mob hit, a Russian mob hit. They hunt her down because she goes to the feds. They hunt her down. They basically assault her. For YouTube's sake, I'll use the word assault. And leave her for dead.
Forcefully conjugated.
Yes, and her thing is she goes on a revenge spree. So book 1 was basically the setup, and book 2 of the Pariah saga is her, which we're working on now, is her back in the city hunting down the mobsters. Right.
It's her Kill Bill part of the story.
Right. So Jake Bishop actually plays a part in Pariah Part 2. So originally Pariah was going to be 1 book and it was going to be 100 pages, but when the economy took a dump, we split it into 2. We thought maybe 3, but if we can get it done in 2, we'll do it in 2. So it looks like it's going to be 2. And this way we can bring the price point down and we can get it backed and funded and stuff. And we did.
Just backed it, man. At that price point, it's no brainer, dude. I'm excited to read it.
Well, yeah, Pariah. Oh, thank you, man. Pariah was a 40-something page graphic novel for $12, which I don't think you can beat that price either.
No.
And so he's not in book 1, but we do put it on this campaign because he will be in book 2. So and this story, A Damn Dirty Thing, takes place basically at the same time as the first book, and they both lead into Pariah book 2. So. And then after the Pariah saga is done, Jake Bishop, the Jake Bishop Files is going to be basically the flagship title for the Rampart Studios, which is Doc's imprint. And again, he's just your average private eye. He just knows how to use magic a little bit. He doesn't take on supernatural cases necessarily. He might, he'll take on a case for your cheating wife.
So kind of like a Solomon Kane. Like, he's supernaturally aware, but that's not really his shtick.
Right. Yeah. He can utilize magic. So he's a warlock. She's a witch. So there's different, like he has like a whole lore with that. But we wanted to introduce, because we split the book up, we figured let's give Jake his own introduction so you get to know him for when he's in Pariah Sanctum of Hate, which is book 2 of the Pariah saga. And yeah, we just fell in love with the characters. So we already have the second Jake Bishop book, which is going to be Jake Bishop Blood on the Bricks. Planned out, but we're doing the Pariah Sanctum of Hate first, then we're going to be doing that. So
Sanctum of Hate, that's a great name, by the way.
Yeah. So it's Pariah Blood and Mud, because basically that beast you saw is a golem formed out of the swamps of Georgia that she controls.
Like jazz?
No, that she controls and uses as a weapon. And Mr. Vaughn Coleman, how are you, pal?
Mr. Self-inserted my own comic himself. Look at that.
Well, just to let you guys know, I was trying to tell you guys when you had him on, I was in the chat screaming. I was like, he's basically culturally appropriated the Greek gods.
Yes, we know.
Like, they're all Greek. They all have Greek names. They all have Greek powers.
It's like this one's Italian. Justin's like, oh, cool. But with a Greek name. Son of a...
Yeah. So
that's great, dude.
But this story, a Damn Dirty Thing, he's solving his own murder or attempted murder. Italian mobster took out a hit on him, blew up his office. His partner and secretary die, and he gets on the mend. He comes back and he's hunting down the guy. And along the way, he meets a little femme fatale named Portia Vance. And she becomes
that name, Portia Vance, she will ruin your life.
Yeah.
But not right away.
And she's got a mystery of her own. She jumps on to being his secretary, and she's a little too eager.
Yeah, she's another love child of Elon Musk.
So, yeah, so you get to learn about that, and then of course the last page there's an epilogue which will lead him to go to meet up with Elizabeth Payne in Sanctum of Hate, and you don't know, is he going to be friend or foe to Elizabeth? You'll have to back that book when it comes out. But here on this campaign, you can get all 3 books for $25: the novella, the Pariah Blood and Mud, and A Damn Dirty Thing.
Hell
A
yeah,
lot of people are selling 40-something page graphic novels for $25. You're getting a 116-page novella, 20-page floppy, and a 44-page graphic novel for $25. So I don't think you can beat that price. So
AC, if you hold still long enough, you could be a still in his next black and white comic.
Probably could. Yeah.
Just have your wife standing there silhouetted. It'll be perfect. No.
I need the. I don't know. I just like the black and white aesthetic. I always have. I feel like it kind of smooths out the edges, if you know what I mean.
And those of you who are backing up until Thursday, which is my birthday, that's why I chose that day.
Nice.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
32, right?
Yes, absolutely. My new best friend. No, anybody who's backed Pariah Blood and Mud or Damn Dirty Thing up until Thursday will get a free digital 10-page preview of Pariah's Sanctum of Hate.
Oh, cool.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So
whose birthday is it then? I'm confused. I thought it was yours, but
yeah, I've got it formatted. I just got to make a low-res PDF to send out to everybody. And get the email list together for that. So once Thursday comes, if you haven't backed, then you're missing out. So if you want to get that, make sure you back it by Thursday, and you'll get that. So
something like that should be like, it's such a good idea. Like we for our book club on the RNCs, we've been going through the Red Rising book series, so book 1 and book 2. At the end of my physical copy of book 1, the one my ex got rid of, there's a sample chapter of one of the cool moments in book 2, and it made me go out and buy that second book that next day. Like just that little sample chapter. It's it's a smart idea. And if you have the information, it just seems like a really smart thing to do.
Right. So like if you just if you just backed A Damn Dirty Thing, right? You didn't back Pariah Blood, but and you didn't get it on this campaign, and you're like, well, I already backed A Damn Dirty Thing. I don't want to go back and back Pariah Blood and Mud after reading the Sanctum of Hate preview. Don't worry, Blood and Mud will be on the Sanctum of Hate campaign as well. So if you wind up liking the preview and you don't want to pay double shipping on this campaign, or you can reach out to me and I'll finagle it, but whatever. If you want to wait, you can always wait because he's not in Blood and Mud. The only reason why we offered it on this is because he will be in book 2. So you can always wait to get Blood and Mud on the Sanctum of Hate campaign as well. So
nice. I like that. There's some campaigns I've seen where they do one later on, and it's like, sorry, you missed out. Too bad. And I hate that because sometimes you never know when people are going to be jumping in.
Yeah.
So I like to be punished for my indecision. So
once I get a new website, I will also have a storefront on the website where anything that I've done will be on the website for sale as well. Always for a little bit more than what you would get them on a campain for. So like,
of course, yeah.
Blood and Mud is going for $12 on these campaigns. On the website,
$75 on the website.
No, we just put it up to 15. Like the $7 comic will be 10. The $9 novella will be 12. Just a little bit more for not helping us get there. You have to, you're getting, the people who help us get there and get these things in production, they're going to get the good price. They're going to get
the benefit.
All the free trading cards, this, that, and the other thing. You get the digital copy. If you back a physical, you still get a digital copy for your digital library. If you buy the physical on the website, you're just getting the physical. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, I it's obviously great when you're able to have advantages, whether it's in price or whether it's in extra goodies, and when you have a campaign like this. Like I've had some that's like, yeah, no, we like giving out these 3 or 4 like cool bookmarks, like with with for all of our backers. And it's like it's a small thing, but it's those little things that people remember. It's those little things that people they kind of count really.
Yeah. I haven't. I'm not going to pull it up, and I'm going too much into it. But there is another book that is going to be closing on Indiegogo called Lightbringer Genesis Volume 2. We're going to print at the end of the month. If you go to the website, you can find the link and follow it there. It's the second book in the Lightbringer Genesis series, which was written by Iron Liz. If anybody knows Channel Awesome lore,
That sounds familiar.
yeah, and Lightbringer was a very heavily panned webcomic written by Linkara, if anybody knows that from Channel Awesome lore. He got so ripped on that he put it in public domain, so we decided to do our own twist on it. And book 1 is out of print right now for specific reasons, which I won't get into, but we are having it redrawn by the current artist of book 2, starting next month. So for those who did back the backup tier on that campaign, they'll get a digital copy of the original book 1, but they'll get the redrawn definitive version once it's done as a physical. And if anybody backs any tier, now that the backup tiers have been taken down, we can work something out if you want to buy one of the original copies. Or I just can't. All right, so long story short, the original artist from book 1 has a past not so nice, and
Yeah.
had to distance myself from that.
Clean house a little bit.
Yeah, and so I have the books. I just can't bring myself to actually put them up for sale. But there are people who still want them. So if they do, I'll sell it to them. But if they'd rather just wait and get a digital copy, I'd rather burn them and give you the redrawn when that's done.
You'll have to tell me about that later because
Yeah.
it's serious shit, dude.
Yeah. So.
No, it's always tough. It's like when a little while back we went through all that Natalie King versus what's his face, Daniel Green kind of drama that was going on a while back. And at first I'm like, if this is true, this is going to be really bad for him. And then afterwards I'm like, actually, it's not true, but it's still very bad for him.
Right.
Because if you have that accusation against you, and you are in a community that cancels people without any proof of anything, he kind of screwed himself, dude. Honestly, he didn't do the things that she accused of him of, but he set himself up for this at the same time. It was there you go. That was appropriate.
And then the only other book, real quick, that we have for sale that's on Fund My Comic is my art book, which is also shipping. It's hardcover.
Oh, sweet. A whole bunch of art books that by indie people are all soft cover. And I'm like, this is just like a comic. Hold on.
Yeah. So it's just my art book. It's art throughout the years. I got some commentary on the stuff. So if you want to check that out, you're more than welcome. And again, just go to the website and follow the link, and you can check that out. So those are the 3 projects that we have live right now. So
Sweet.
Sweet,
Heck yeah,
dude.
man. Appreciate you sharing. It was great
appreciate
to
you
have
letting
on.
me.
How much? I don't know how much time everybody has here. We're approaching the almost 2-hour mark, so we can.
I'm okay for a while longer. My kids are gone now, so less distraction.
I got time too. I mean, it's up to.
Yeah, I got time. I just got to run to the bathroom real quick if you don't mind.
I think I could probably do about 15-ish.
Just go, man.
Bounce out a little bit earlier than you guys, but that's all good.
Okay. Yeah. I found this. Let me share it with everybody here. It's pretty great.
Yeah, share it, AC. It's easy on.
I'm gonna do it without the volume though because it's reasons.
Whoa.
Yeah. I saw this.
That's a little freaky, dude.
I
Who is
know.
he holding that's filming him? Is he
His iPhone, obvious.
I like to pretend he's holding a guy who's filming him. Is in every shot he's holding a human who's filming.
Sometimes the movement's a little bit weird, but he looked like Ernest for a second there.
Oh, dude, Ernest would have been a great cast to play Superman.
For real.
No, why do you speak, Justin? Why do you speak?
Why?
You know what I mean, Vern?
Why you speak, Vern?
This is like Superman the vlog, like 2007 vlogging edition.
Yeah.
I can't tell if this is like really cool, weird, both, neither. I'm not sure how to feel about it, honestly.
Why is he like making weird faces?
I think it's mostly cool. AI's the things that you can do with AI. I think it's mostly interesting.
Yeah.
And mostly cool.
Yeah.
I'd rather see this
What-
than not see it.
What if this is like pre-iPhone? So like he's holding a laptop right now. Like with a
Yeah, he's
webcam.
holding another human who's holding
Yes.
the laptop and is filming them. Yeah, so that's what's happening. You're welcome, Superman. He's got
Yeah, like half of those shots, like maybe 1/3 of those shots were perfect. Like roughly half were acceptable. The other ones, hit or miss, hit or miss.
Yeah.
Speaking of hit or miss, that's sort of like some people's acting abilities. Am I right?
Oh yeah. Only in
I
romance
love
movies.
Keanu, dude, but he's not perfect for every
I got
movie. He's not
I'm
perfect
starting
for every role.
I'm starting this thing. I got AI roasts every week. I get AI to roast one of our topics, and I think it works pretty well.
It's gonna
Because,
get
you know, Keanu Reeves, his acting is like a Wi-Fi signal with one bar. I mean, technically it's there, but you're not sure if it's actually doing anything. And in The Matrix, I mean, sure, he dodged bullets, but it was with the same energy he dodges emotional depth with. Slowly, predictably, with a blank stare that says, "Whoa, am I in this scene?"
Oh,
We love you, Keanu, but your acting is, you know.
But
There you go. That's
if you
Rock.
imagine
Courtesy
if he was
Rock.
a good, imagine if he was a good actor, we never would have gotten him shooting into the sky and yelling in the least convincing way possible.
What was
Like
that
in
from? Was that in Speed?
no, in Point Break.
What
Dude,
did
these
you do to
memes,
this guy?
these memes with JD Vance have been killing me, dude.
Why is there not one with Keanu? That would be perfect for tonight. JD, Keanu Vance.
You
Give
could
me
have
a
put
sec.
You could have put
Yeah.
Keanu's face down below. That would have been funny too.
Yeah, give me a sec here. I'll find it. It
Or maybe
exists.
Oh,
both of his
no.
eyes, Keanu's face.
We know it
Flash man.
exists.
Chris,
know
look
it
at
exists.
that was in the chat. He did both
Let's see.
move and say words.
J.D. Reeves.
Oh,
I like the
dude.
one of him as the minion. I don't know what that has to do with this topic. I still enjoyed looking at it. But
No,
While
just
you're
all the
pulling that
JD Vance memes have been
what
pretty
do
funny.
you all think Keanu Reeves' #1 highest grossing movie he was a part of was?
It has to be one of the Matrix movies.
Right? Is that everybody's final answer?
I'm gonna say Revelations. I feel like that was made, or nah,
Cyberpunk.
that's not a movie.
Really? That's not on here. That's not a movie, AC. Oh,
It's either one of the Matrix or one of the John Wicks.
right. That's what I thought. That was my first thought. I'm like, it's got to be the OG Matrix. That was a.
It's
cultural
not going to
bomb,
be
as
Bill
AC
and
would
Ted's
call it.
Excellent Adventure. It can't
It should be though, in a
should
proper
be.
universe, in the right timeline before they turn on the Hadron Collider. That would be the top grossing, and the second one, not the first one.
Bogus Journey. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Correct answer here.
Holy
Toy
shit.
Story 4, which is a shit.
He voiced somebody in that?
Yeah, he was a Duke Kaboom. He was a Canadian stuntman. It was
Oh,
not
that's
a good
right.
movie. Don't watch it. Avoid it.
I just saw something that he voiced not too long ago. That was recent.
Was it Johnny Silverhand for Cyberpunk?
No. And I was like,
Nope.
wait, is that really Keanu Reeves?
I know what you mean. He
Number
pops
2
up
is
every now and
Matrix
then.
Reloaded.
As like a
Matrix
voice that
Reloaded.
does pop up every now and then. It's weird.
Oh, Sonic 3. Oh.
That's it. Yes. Yes, it was Sonic. Yes.
Oh.
Yes, he's Shadow.
as,
He's Shadow. That's right.
Yeah.
He's
His
Shadow.
Tails.
Dude,
That's right.
I'm
I
not
forgot
like
he's the
I
voice
didn't
of
grow
Tails.
up with those games, but my
Me neither.
boy, my oldest loves Sonic, and so I've seen the last 2 movies in theaters. Unironically, Sonic 3 is one of my favorite like theater experiences in years. It was a ton of fun.
That movie's becoming Paddington 2 for me. I haven't seen it, but everybody hypes it up, so I'm like, I need to watch it. Dude, have you heard the
It-
Paddington 2 hype? I have. If you
I
haven't,
heard
it's
it,
there.
but I'm not gonna watch
It's
it.
large. It's a thing.
It's
So
large.
kinda-
It's in charge.
I'd have
It's
to
large,
say
we can
though,
talk about it. Oh,
and
we can talk
I'm
about
just
it.
meeting you guys
It's
really
Paddington. It's a bear.
and-
Loves marmalade.
and intermingling with you guys for the first time, and we've been following each other and stuff. But this is it was one of your better experiences, probably because your kids were there.
Oh, for sure, that was a big part of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I don't care about Sonic, but the movie itself, like It was
They're
the closest
fun.
I think we're ever going to see to Dragon Ball Z in theaters. It was pretty. It was a neat experience. It was a ton of fun getting to watch movies like with my 8-year-old and my 4-year-old. It was great.
Yeah, they are fun movies. I mean, I've watched them when they hit Paramount. Like I've watched them. I didn't go to the theater, but they're fun movies to watch. And I only played the first Sonic game. Like I'm not a big video game guy. Back growing up, like I still have my original Sega Master System. You know what I mean? And my ColecoVision with the Atari adapter.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm familiar.
Could you imagine? They made an adapter to play Atari games. Could you imagine if Sony did that with an Xbox adapter right now? The fucking legal wars that would be going on.
Oh, dude, it'd be brutal. It's like, hey guys, we got this adapter. Just plug it into your PlayStation. You can play Halo.
One of the coolest gaming experiences actually from our childhood, talking about Sonic. Did you guys have Sonic and Knuckles? It was a cartridge that you could, it was a game you put in, it was its own game, but then you could put the cartridge of Sonic 1, 2, or 3 on top of Sonic and Knuckles, and it would put extra characters in whatever game you were playing.
What?
And it was like witchcraft in the era.
What was that?
That's wild.
What system was that?
That was Sega Genesis. That was probably like 94 maybe. My buddy had it because he told me about it at school. I'm like, dude, you're a liar. You're lying. You said your dad invented Mountain Dew and that your mom drives a monster truck. Like you're just a liar.
Al Gore created the internet. Yeah, the whole thing.
And then and then I went to his house and I'm like, oh my god. Did he invent Mountain Dew? Like, does your mom drive a monster truck? He's like, oh yeah, totally.
Your father's killed millions.
You never see it. She can't park it in the garage. The garage isn't big enough. She definitely has it. She parks it around back, but you can't see it. So, you know that kid.
I always had that, like, somebody who, like, you know, oh, so-and-so's mom invented whiteout, or so-and-so's mom invented the Post-it. And it's like...
That's such a weird brag.
And you hear,
like,
you hear about...
If it's true, it's kind of lame. Like, I don't want to know that.
I've heard that, like as, like, an urban legend. Like, you know, everybody has the inventor of Post-it in their, like, you know, in their hometown. And, like, I used to laugh every time I heard it. And then I met the lady who invented the Post-it.
No way.
She lives in the town that I work in now.
What the heck? You live in like the center of culture. It's like all the thrash kids get together and inventing things. Crazy.
Well, it's like there was a conference I went to a long time ago, and this guy named Jesse Insler was there, and he's a multimillionaire. He's been a musician. He owns a company that like leases out private jet experiences for wealthy people. Like he's very highly successful. He's talking up there, and he's like, yeah, here's me and my wife. You've never heard of her, but she's wealthier than anyone that I know in this room. She invented Spanx. She's worth like almost $3 or $4 billion.
Oh, geez, yeah. I can imagine. No, I do live in an area where there's a lot of like.
Yeah. It's
like my piano teacher 10 years earlier was John Bon Jovi's piano teacher because he grew up in the town next to where I grew up in.
It's wild, dude.
I got into a pushing match and almost into a fist fight with his kid brother Matt Bon Jovi.
There's more of them. Yeah. Bon Jovi.
How many? Like I know there's at least 2 of them. I didn't know there's 3.
There's a Matthew?
There's a Matt Bon Jovi. Yeah. He owned a club. By where I live now, and I wasn't living here at the time, but we went, and I don't know, something happened. I didn't know he was the owner, and so this, that, and the other thing, and I recognized him. I didn't know he owned the club, and he said something. I just remember I was drunk, and I said something like, you're still living in your brother's shadow.
Bro.
That's it.
Out of the club, ass kicked in the alleyway.
Dying on a prayer.
Yeah, he was a little buzzed up, and he pushed me. He's like, I own this place. I'm about to get you the fuck. And then I pushed him back, and I was like, I don't give a shit. And then the bouncer came over and goes, he really owns the club. You need to leave. And I was like, okay, I'm out.
If I was that guy, I would constantly.
Fine. Frankly, his butt would have been kicked very hard.
You better run away. Because I bet you're wanted dead or alive.
So obviously Trump isn't quite right in this picture, but JD Vance looks like this is real. This looks like he looks real.
Yeah, his face works on everything, and I think
I didn't realize
it kind of does
at first.
Contributing to
it's
it.
Like that's just a scene from Jay and Silent Bob. It isn't. No, there is some tweaking going on there.
I have a theory. My conspiracy is both sides have professional artists like I think once the right got wind of the left having like professional artists Photoshop the initial ugly wave of JD Vance memes, then they did their counter wave of like flattering JD Vance memes, and it's all
100%.
seamless because there's like super legit artists mixed in here.
Yeah.
And
Some of them weren't very good. I saw some ones like I have some friends that are like, yo, look at this one. He's like a fat kid that likes lollipops. And I looked at him like, it's like kind of funny, but sort of lazy. Like, I don't know.
Okay,
like
I have a
these-
good
The
example.
left can't meme. They
Yeah.
don't get it.
But they don't know that they can't. They just
You know, I'm
they-
something of a vice
From
president
Spider-Man.
myself.
Dude, do you have the Minion one? The one of him as a Minion is my favorite.
Okay, I'm gonna.
I haven't seen that one. I haven't seen that one.
There's two, and the one version is the wrong version, but that's also the version that's easier to find. But there's a correct
s-
Minion version. That JD
as-
Minion Vance is the best.
As our thumbnail guy, you have to appreciate how seamless this is. This Photoshop job. It's
Hey,
almost-
O'Brien. Oh, Brian, it's late for you. What are you
It
doing
might
here?
even be these might even be just AI at this point. I don't even know if people are actually,
Actually,
maybe
yeah,
they do
you're
a
right.
little bit of touching up in Photoshop, but I don't think it's pure masking just because
You're right.
it's real good. You gotta know what you're
No,
doing.
I think they're doing like the face, like a face swap kind of, or,
Yes.
or like combination kind of
Yes.
Yeah.
AI
yeah.
deal.
I think you're right. Minion.
Yeah, it was
JD
hard to
Vance.
find. I tried to find it earlier because I saw it on Twix and I went, and then I kept scrolling, and I was like, oh no, I should have kept that, and then
Yeah.
I couldn't find it again.
While you're looking for that, being that you guys are musicians, have you ever had like the most nerve-wracking experience playing in front of somebody whose cover song you were
Oh,
doing?
no.
Oh,
Ooh,
jeez.
No, I haven't, but I did play a song that like everybody knew. It was like viral at the time.
Oh, were you guys covering it or?
Yeah, it was a cover. Yeah, but it wasn't like somebody else's song, and then they're standing right there. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, so, well, first it was crazy because Sebastian Bach lived in this area for a while.
Really?
And awesome dude. He used to come into the restaurant I work in all the time. And he's as crazy as you think he is in real life. It's not an act. He's even at his age now. And his son was roommates with a friend of mine. And I got to meet him through work and through that. And then I was playing a gig, acoustic gig, and I was doing I Remember You. And I don't have the range that he's got. So I drop it down an octave vocally, and I slow it down on the guitar and make it real more somber like.
Yeah.
And I'm in the middle of I literally just start the first three
dear.
notes. Doom, the G to the C chord, right?
Right.
Boom. And I go diddle diddle doom, and I hit that second G chord, and in walks in my buddy, his roommate, which is his son, which was nerve-wracking enough because now I'm playing his
Sure.
dad's song, and who comes walking in like 10 seconds behind them?
No.
But Sebastian Bach.
And he joined you on stage, and you
Oh.
guys shared a microphone.
No,
He said, this is my progenitor. This is what's coming next.
Right. So he sits down, they order a drink, and I have to keep playing it at this point, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't stop. And I'm nervous, I'm sweating, I'm shaking, and I'm doing it in this
This might be
lower
the best
octave. And I get through the song, and thankfully it was like my sixth song, so I was like, I'm gonna take a break after this and run the fuck out of here and go have a
Right.
cigarette. So I finished the song, and as I put the guitar down, he's the first one to stand up and start clapping. And
Oh,
then he
sweet.
calls me over and says, I've never heard that song sung like that. And I'm not a singer. I'm just a guitarist who carries a tune. Like, so I'm not, it wasn't like, but he's like, I really like that version. And he goes, I was going to come up and sing with you, which would have been, I would not, he's like, but I didn't want to ruin it. That's what he said.
Oh man, that's awesome.
So,
That's gotta be an experience most people don't have, where you're playing a song and then just by chance the person who performs it originally walks in and then
Which brings up a good point, and
One of like
wants
4
you
people.
to give your social security, your address, exactly where you live, your schedule, basic stuff.
I live in central Jersey. I grew up in Middlesex County, and now I live in Monmouth County. I live basically at the north end of the Jersey Shore. So the town I work in is, I grew up in Old Bridge, New Jersey. Bon Jovi was from Sayreville, which was right next door. Old Bridge Metal Militia. Like I
His
used to
brother's
dri-
kind of a bit. No.
I used to ride my bike past the house that Metallica was staying at when they were recording Kill 'Em All.
That's crazy.
And like I saw them. I didn't know who they were.
Was there
they weren't
something in the
famous.
water
Like-
there? Why were there so many bands coming out?
Well, all right, so Metallica was from San Francisco, but there was a guy,
Originally,
Metal Mike, who owned a small record shop in the flea market, who had connections to other guys. So he got them the demo to Elektra, was it? I forget what record label it was originally, but he got their demo to them, and he knew the guy, so he brought. He flew, like he had them come out. They drove, and then when they were driving is when they fired Dave Mustaine, and got Kirk Hammett to come out, and they stayed in Old Bridge. That's why if you actually look in the liner notes of the first few albums, they thank the Old Bridge Metal Militia because they were staying in Old Bridge, partying and like crazy. So I remember like seeing James Hetfield passed out on a lawn as a kid. Didn't know who he was.
Oh my
right?
gosh.
You just thought it was some guy.
Yeah.
Guy with tight jeans. passed
My
on the
my
lawn.
my my
Big
friend's
man.
older brother was at the house partying. We would bike up and down hoping to get like a free beer out of the deal at like 12 years old, like that, you know. And yeah, he would actually we were younger than that, but we were just like we just thought they were so cool. And like he was going, that guy's recording a record and they're gonna be awesome one day. And we're like, yeah, sure. You say that about everybody that you know. And sure
Like,
enough,
all right, guy, yeah, calm down.
yeah. So, but the town I work in, you know, is from Bruce Springsteen. As a bartender, I've done private parties. I've actually bartended at Bruce Springsteen's house for a party. Max Weinberg came into a restaurant I used to manage all the time. John Stewart is from there. I'm not a musician, but like his nice guy. His family's nice people. Richie Sambora.
Okay, yeah.
Used to live in the town that I work in now, and is best friends with the owner of the restaurant that I work for.
That's crazy that there's
yeah.
that many people in that area. It's weird. There's a couple
Yeah.
spots in the country like that. I didn't know that part of New Jersey was one of them. This is the first time I've heard it.
Yeah.
A lot of them have moved out of the area since. Like John Bon Jovi just
yeah.
moved out like 3 years ago. He sold his house for like $8 million.
Wait, but you said you can't go home, right? Isn't that the?
Yeah, I don't know where he moved to. I don't know if he moved out of state or just out of town. But his daughter had like a heroin problem, and they just wanted to get out of the area. Yeah.
All right,
but
that's it. We're moving to Canada. We
You
don't.
used to be able to see his house. Like I live, my restaurant's on a river, and his house was on the other side. You could see his house from where I worked, and like, I remember her graduation party. There was like some band playing there. I don't know if they were famous or not, but you could hear it, and they had fireworks going off, and yeah, it was insane.
And now his son's married to the girl from Stranger Things. Life goes
Wait,
on.
what?
Is he?
Yeah.
Which
Married
girl?
Millie Bobby Brown.
She
Bon
got
Jovi's
married?
son.
I
Yeah.
thought she was like 10.
Yeah, that makes sense. I did
No,
hear that he
dude,
got
you
married.
think that? But when was season 1? Like 2016?
I don't know.
She got a whole bunch
She's
of
only like
his
20 or
last name isn't
21.
Bon Jovi. It's Bon Jovi. It's like an actual proper name, and he just made it different.
Yeah. It's pronounced Bon Jovi, but yeah, if you were in Italy, it'd be Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi. That's how
But
he looks like his dad.
At least if he wasn't good at doing music, then he could have done it probably pasta.
the Quick Stop convenience store that Clerks was filmed at, I drive
Yeah.
by on my way to work every day.
So wild. I had never knew this about that part of New Jersey.
Yeah.
It's like the best I got is like I know where certain old not a lot of good movies were filmed in Washington or Seattle area.
Oh, dude,
So every now and again I'll see one. I'm
Twin
like,
Peaks.
okay,
Twin
I've seen
Peaks.
that. Yeah, I never watched Twin Peaks though.
I have a picture of me and the guy who played Dante.
Oh, that's
from
cool.
Clerks. Yeah, the place I work, I do private events, and I was bartending a charity for some animal charity. Yeah, I forget what they did. Something for cats. And the guy's girlfriend is involved in it, and he was there. And I was like, dude, that's the guy from Clerks. And like one coworker, she was such a scutch. She was like, I told him you wanted to have a picture taken, so he's coming over to take a picture with you. I'm like, Stacey, why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? I've been serving
You're like, why'd you do that?
I've been
Why
serving
did
this
you
guy.
do that?
I've been serving this guy Angry Orchards all day. I could have asked him myself, why did you have to do it? But he came over. He was really cool, and he took a picture with me and stuff. That was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
I've seen a couple celebrities, but there's a minor one, but it's more funny because I've run into him multiple times. Enough times that it felt weird after a while. I'm like, I just keep running into you. But like Jeremy Johns from the YouTube channel, like reviews
really?
movies, like maybe the biggest
Oh,
guy
yeah.
who does that still. Really cool guy, actually. We talked to quite a few times at this point, but it's like after like one time we had a cool talk, just like as a fan, kind of talking about things, talking about how LA sucks and why he moved back here. And then we're like, oh well, thanks, that was a cool interaction, whatever. And then we go our separate ways. We're going the same direction. And I'm like,
Bye,
this just
and then you're walking
feels
side by
weird.
That's
now.
awkward when you say goodbye and you go in the same direction.
We said goodbye. We're in Target. We get in line at the same Starbucks. I'm like, oh no, that feels weird now.
Now he
dude.
thinks you're following him.
Then we both go into the parking lot. We park right next to it. Nah, no. But
Besides Max Weinberg, because like I said, he used to come in, and even though I was manager, I had to serve him because I was very professional and I didn't so I would always serve him. Other than him, the only other celebrity that I've seen on a regular basis, she lives in the town I work in. She's a very D-list. She's like never a main star, but you've probably seen her in a lot of shit. Her name's Siobhan something. You ever see
How do you spell something? Is that just S-O-N-E?
what the Kevin Spacey movie, The Negotiator?
Yeah.
Okay, the secretary, the redhead.
Oh, yeah. No, she works. I've seen her.
Yeah, she's in a lot of stuff, but she always plays like a character like that. She's like a secondary character or
Donna.
what.
Yeah, there's always a
Monterado?
couple actors and actresses that get relegated to like just a specific background role, and they do it over and over.
Is
Yeah.
it Donna Ponterado?
No, her name's Siobhan. It's spelled like S-I-O-B. Hold on. Yeah.
Yeah, Sioban. Yeah.
Yeah.
Robert Gaelic.
I forget her last name, but she's always in
Fallon?
like I don't know. her
Siobhan
name.
Fallon?
Let me see.
Siobhan Fallon? No, nothing.
Yes, that's her.
Hey, we did it.
Yeah.
Siobhan Fallon Hogan.
Yeah, she's she's always in the restaurant. She's very nice lady, and very funny. I could see why they give her the same kind of typecasting character because she's got that like, witty snark to her. Yeah.
Right. Very cool.
And she uses that on all the poor people in the restaurant, just like unrelentingly. Like some girl first day working as a server, just like
No,
getting.
I'll tell you right now, she either drinks Michelob Ultra or like Pinot Grigio. That's it. Like she's not very
Sometimes
fancy.
She mixes the two into a Gatorade bottle and drinks it without squirting it. It's very odd, but you know.
Let's go around quick and say our final shills here.
Yep.
Boy up.
Sounds
Sorry, yeah, I'm just jabbering over here.
We could yap forever. Dude.
Oh yeah.
good. Seriously.
That, like
Well,
better
yeah,
that than like
5
we've had guests
a.m.
who
I better
can't
go to
talk. We've had that too. This is
Yeah,
better.
that's true.
True.
All right, Justin. Chill.
Sure, yeah. I obviously Evaleighmusic is my little tag on here. If you type in Evalie in any streaming service where you listen to music, I got tunes on there. I got music that I've done for other people. There's some power metal. There's some like punk rockish kind of stuff. There's chip
The album is
rock,
Lift.
instrumental things. Yeah, that was the new one. We got some good old fashioned like what do they call it? Mellow death, like core. I don't know what to categorize it. If you like heavy metal or rock, there's a little bit of all of that in there, so you can check that out.
Angry throat cancer rock.
Don't you? I hate all the new like subgenres. It's metal. Yeah.
I don't know what to categorize it as, but I'm like, it's heavy metal.
Yeah, it's metal.
Actually, it's mellow death with a tinge of this. I'm like, I don't know, man. It's just like,
Shut up.
Put that cigarette in your ass and
but it's
shit.
there. I got a new track coming out with that I did for Otter's new book. So whenever he gets that on the
that sounds
presses, we'll get
sick.
that out there. It's another like power metal-y kind of track, and I've been hard at work on my own stuff finally, which is great. Working on an expanded version of Fire Everything, which is more. It's heavy stuff. Like it's heavier, but it's groovy. It's so I'm having a lot of fun writing that, and hopefully we're gonna single out in the next couple of months, and then maybe the actual expanded version by the end of summer is my goal. So stay tuned.
Hell yeah,
I'm gonna
dude! You
pass it.
finally get to work on your own stuff. I'm so excited
I know
for you.
it's very nice. It's very nice. No deadlines. It's just like okay, no pressure.
All right, for me, man, I've been crazy busy with work and kids and stuff, but I got a bunch of videos I've been getting prepared recently. Starting a couple of new series. I'll be doing like Spirit Saturdays, just talking about faith and belief and different aspects of that, good and bad. all across. I'll be trying to do that every Saturday. I have Wild Wednesdays, which is anything that catches my eye and is a little wild, a little crazy. I'll either react to it or add commentary to it, or I'll be doing the crazy said thing on every Wednesday. And so, yeah, that's some stuff I have coming up on my own channel. Also, speaking of the Lord Otter, his second book is releasing soon. I'm going to be releasing the long-awaited discussion panel where me and a whole bunch of other creatives, writers, and the like, and people who know Otter and don't know Otter talk about his book. We filmed it like over a year ago, and I'm finally going to put that out in anticipation of the Lord Otter's release. So that's something that's coming up too.
Nice.
Dark Gift. Talk about your book again.
Well, yeah, I showed my books, so if you go to darkgiftcomics.com, you can go check those out again. Definitely check out A Damn Dirty Thing. We really want to get to that audio book. But if you're inclined, just check me out on all the socials: Rumble, YouTube, Twitter, or X or whatever. Dark Gift Comics. I'm on all of them, even ones that I'm not really that active on anymore. I'm there, and I'll pop up every now and then. My YouTube and Rumble channel, definitely subscribe to that. I have a show every Wednesday night also, so if you're not watching Kahuna or he's taking a day off, come stop by. It's called The Madhouse, the Slumlords podcast.
Actually, it sounds like our stuff might be compatible. We'll see. I'll show up in the shower. It'll be great.
Yeah, no, definitely do that, because we've had shower streams before, ironically enough. But yeah, I mean, it's cool. We started off as a little indie, we called ourselves the CG Slums, if you know anything, and then we kind of branched off and became the Indie Slums, because we wanted to branch out away from just comics. So we've got a few people. Christy Phillips from Flip City Magazine joins us every now and then. Nice. Bats pops on from time to time as like a resident author. I'd really love to get an indie movie maker, an indie musician, hint hint to anybody on the panel, to be a regular, and have the perspective of all different genres of art styles. And we talk about pop culture and the effects of what's going on in the industry compared to what we love, and how it affects us. And we talk a little politics every now and then too, and just have a good time ripping each other apart. So we do that every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. And I have a show that is called...
10 p.m. what time? Sorry. Or what zone?
Eastern.
Oh, okay. Sweet.
Yeah. And Thursdays, it's not every Thursday, but like this Thursday, there might be one. It's kind of in hiatus right now because one guy might have to work. I have an art competition. If you want to see the craziest art competition ever, it's called Indie Cockfight. Cock is COC, creator owned comics, or creator on creator.
We're having cockfights, creator on creator. When I showed up, I had a very different expectation, but it was still great.
I thought it was something on something else.
It's a one-on-one, 2-hour drawing competition where shit-talking is encouraged, heckling from the crowd is encouraged. Loser has to proclaim publicly inferiority to the other opponent and has to back their project. And we have the Wheel of Betrayal, which we pick the category that night, whether it be like, we'll spin the wheel, Wolverine gets picked, boom, 15 minutes later, we spin the Wheel of Betrayal, add a character. Now you got to add a whole new character into your drawing that you started already. So it's crazy, draw with your left hand instead of your right or whatever, you know what I mean? All that kind of crazy shit. So
draw with your toes.
Yeah, so we got about 4 of them lined up for the next 4 or 5 weeks, and they should be on Thursdays, starting this Thursday. This one might get pushed back to the end of the line if the guy has to work, but it's a really great show. It's fun, and you get to vote at the end on who the best artist is. So
very cool. Sounds like a fun time.
Heck yeah. On my end, we just did our first tarot fundraising stream yesterday. Kahuna popped in.
That was funny. That was great. It was my card was hilarious. It was great.
Got to hang out and talk some Skyrim. My wife is going to be doing some gaming streaming. I'm going to set up some Skyrim challenges for her. One of the first challenges, we bonded over is she told me about how she would play and purposely just try to get as many gems as she could to make a gem tornado. And her game froze eventually because that's what happens in challenges sometimes. Because she had too many gems, right? So, we were able to talk about that, raise some funds to help pay for her medical expenses, and give out some tarot readings and stuff. Kahuna got the devil card. That was fun,
I asked about my romantic future. Anyway, the devil card. And, yeah.
Women are the devil, Bobby Boucher. Yeah, and I mean, it's always interesting when somebody gets like the devil or like death or whatever, the fool, stuff like that.
It's like we're not talking about my ex-wife. We're talking about.
Yeah. Other than that, you'll see like some gaming and some more of those fundraising streams, as well as some new pub specials. I plan on putting out some more specials for the Iron Seas, music related stuff over on the Empty My Lungs channel. You should subscribe to all these channels: Pritchard Pub, Iron Seas, Empty My Lungs, obviously DARKGIFT's channel, Kahuna's channel as well. Evalie even has a channel. Go get that. I'm about to send out the newsletter right after the show, so go to the Substack, ironseas.substack.com, and get that. A lot of new content coming down the pipeline, so I'm excited for that. And also DARKGIFT, I am going to be doing a second wave of promotion for my comic campaign, so I'd be down to come on your show at some point and talk about that, or even music, whatever angle you want. Like I do comics, books, and music, and
oh, cool, absolutely, man. What you call it? I've got you're the one that DM'd me the link, so yeah. I got you.
Yep. But other than that, unless you guys have any other final thoughts, we can call it here.
We're way past Justin's bedtime. I think we have to call it.
He's a champion. We always give him the lady names in the memes, but
It's my
he's
fault. I picked a girl name for the band.
it's fine.
It's your niche now.
Yeah,
Anyway.
that's what it is.
Until next time, everybody.
Thanks
Bye.
again,
Bye,
guys.
y'all.